Antoine is going to be crowned.
Absolutely phenomenal. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to WOR here for this fabulous PC Championship, and what a potential finale we have on our hands. Certainly the battle for the championship is coming down now to this final few races of this season. It's been absolutely clinical, brilliant, lots of different moments, crazy moments happening in the race. Jake Benham could be crowned the World Drivers' Champion here tonight at Imola for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. But just before we get into it, folks, obviously some very saddening news coming out of Formula One and certainly the Williams family. We are very regretful to hear the passing, or of the passing, of Frank Williams, Sir Frank Williams, for that matter, the founder, the former team principal of the Williams Formula One team. And we were all dreadfully saddened to hear of his passing, and certainly our thoughts and prayers go to Claire Williams and her family as well, and to that of the Williams team and of course its drivers. But I'm not alone. My name is of course George Morgan. I'm also joined by the Flying Scotsman. It's Ginger Andy. Andy, how are you, sir?
Yes, I'm very good, George. I'm looking forward to tonight's race, and I absolutely echo everything you've just said about the sad news about Sir Frank Williams this afternoon. You know, as you say, he was a massive name in the world of Formula One. The founder of the Williams team that went on and won so many championships, a massive part of the history of Formula One. So very sad to hear of his passing, and I think everyone at WOR and beyond is thinking of the Williams family at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was made of very stern steel. I mean, anyone who can get through such a horrific accident when he came back from testing in Paul Ricard to this day live such, you could say, certainly a fruitful life. I mean, amazing work that he's done with Williams over the years. Of course, my first memory of Formula One being Damon Hill winning the World Championship back in 1996 in that very familiar Rothmans livery that we all came to love, and that Jacques Villeneuve would go ahead to take his first World Championship there as well, his first and only World Championship for that matter. But we're going to be heading now into another fabulous race here today, folks. Hopefully we can push on and look at a potential classic on the cards here at Imola, of course, a well-known circuit. But first of all, let's take a look at some of these permutations. And we're going to have a scrolling banner here, of course. Jake Benham, fancied to become world champion. And all of you have had your say in the vote as well. Certainly, yes. 38% say yes that Jake Benham's going to win the title tonight, Andy. But a key number, 62%, say no, that he's not going to win the title tonight.
Yeah, well, it's up to everyone to try and make a decision on whether he will or will not. I have to say, George, in recent weeks, I think he's not been in the form we've seen at the start of the season. He's not been up looking like winning races of late. He's been a little bit behind, so he'll need to go out there and win tonight if he wants to try and seal that championship. So let's see if we see an improvement in form. But the likes of Jarno Opmeer in here, who incredibly who still has a shot at winning the title himself, it's going to be very, very difficult. Looking forward to the race, George, and we'll see if the championship picture changes over the course of the night, and we'll see if we are indeed going to be crowning a champion. But there you go, as you can see, 41 points the gap that Jake Benham has over John Evans at this stage of the season. So it's going to be quite the thrilling final few races to round the season off, George.
Yep, certainly. And with 3 rounds left, of course, including this one at Imola, it's going to be a very tantalising affair. We are heading, like I said, to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at the track of Imola. Of course, formerly known as San Marino, all the way back in 1981. It was known as the San Marino Grand Prix, right up to certainly the near enough the present day. I'm going to say 2006, quite a long way back now, you think about it. But now it's known as the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, and we've seen many phenomenal races be conducted around this track, but it's still gripped by tragedy as well. Of course, many of you will know about Ayrton Senna and, of course, the big accident that happened heading around Tamburello back in 1994. What a moment that certainly played a poignant part in everyone's Formula One history and those who've certainly followed the sport, who are in the sport. But despite that, Senna's memory lives long in Formula One, and we've seen many, many good races here, haven't we, Andy?
Yeah, we have, George, and it's a bit of an old school circuit. I really do like it, and what I really love, and I think we as commentators, George, we really love, it's got some fancy corner names. It's not the basic old turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. It's a track with history and some great corner names. You know, you've got Villeneuve Corner, Tamburello, Tosa, Acqua Minerale, the Variante Alta Chicane, Ravazza 1 and 2. We just love it, George, and it's great to see Formula One back here. Yes, we know that the COVID pandemic is not ideal, but I suppose if we can try and make a positive out of it, but we are getting to go to some great tracks in real life, and of course we're getting to see the drivers on the game round here as well. And a big congrats to Codemasters, because I've got to say they've done a really good job of this Imola circuit, as well as Portimao, George. They've done a great job.
They certainly have. 19 corners make up this track, and like Andy said, it was certainly the circuit that I was most looking forward to this year. And there's Tomek Peradžić now back returning, this time for the Mercedes team, partnering up the Flying Dutchman Jarno Opmeer, of course, coming off the back of an incredible win in F1 Esports at the Circuit of the Americas. Andy, I'm not sure whether you watched that race the other day, but what a moment that was with him and Nicolas Longuet. I mean, Longuet pulling out, trying to get the DRS heading down that long stretch at the Circuit of the Americas. What a key point that played in Jarno winning that race.
Yeah, it was actually crazy, George. I've seen the last 5 or 6 laps or so of that race, and Longley was holding on out in front, and then he overtook Opmeer with a lap to go. He thought he made the right judgment there, and then decided, no, I'm going to let Jarno go first, and because the cars were so close behind, he ended up dropping down into 3rd place, and Finny Rasmussen jumped up into 2nd, and it was a bit of a miscalculation from the Frenchman, and it gave the opportunity for Jarno to take the lead, and Rasmussen wasn't able to get through down the straight, and Jarno went on to win, and just goes to show you, Jarno Opmeer just, he's just so clever. He always seems to get it right. The only time I don't remember him getting it right, George, was this season a few races ago against John Evans, and we all know how that worked out. John Evans getting his first WOR win of the season in that one. But no, incredible, the finale to that Grand Prix, and it just shows you the fine margins in F1 Esports with everyone so tightly packed. They're squabbling over who wants to take the DRS on the final lap of the race between 3 drivers. Crazy.
Yeah, no, absolutely incredible. And DRS is everything when it comes to F1 Esports, and certainly here in League Racing as well. Certainly, we've seen it so many times, certainly at the top level. All of the drivers, nothing between them. We see it week in, week out, folks. All of them are as talented as one another, as we now watch Lewis Welch make his way down through the next chicane, and very shortly be making his way around the next left before he then reaches the dogged 2 left-handers, before he then reaches the grand finale of this circuit, heading around the Ravazza now in the Ferrari, of course. Home territory pretty much here for Ferrari, as well as AlphaTauri. Luke Smith as well donning the AlphaTauri with the very nice gesture, token gesture, hashtag thank you Frank. Certainly it is thank you Frank, as Lewis Welch now crosses the line, and he will go again, that's for sure. With the DRS opening up, he'll head down into the next left-hander, into the next right. This very quick circuit, very, very tricky as well. Don't be fooled, folks. Certainly heading around corners such as Acqua Minerale, as well as Tamburello, Villeneuve, Tosa. It's going to be so treacherous, fast-paced, Andy, but also treacherous.
Yeah, it sure will be. I mean, George, we've spoke before, haven't we? We've raced around on this racetrack, and we mentioned it last week. Those curbs, they really have got some serious serrated edges, and very easy to go bouncing over them and losing the rear of the car and going for a spin. So a tricky track, a narrow racetrack as well. Not much margin for error. And if you go wide, you could be going on to grass and gravel. So the drivers will have to keep their wits about them and just manage their, just how much they're willing to risk going over those curbs, because it's very easy to clunk over the top of them and go for a spin. So yeah, the drivers will just be building themselves up, George, throughout qualifying one, and as we go through qualifying into Q2 and Q3, I'm sure we'll start to see them pushing their luck a little bit more and taking a few more risks, and I'm sure with that we'll see the lap times beginning to tumble.
Yeah, definitely. Lewis Welch now coming around Ravazza, and is going to make his way down the straight yet again in the Ferrari, coming across the start-finish line. Will he register a time on the board this time, coming around that final corner? No, not this time. He stays in P4. No time set. John Evans, though, another man who has been vying for the championship, also out and about. Many of them, as you will notice, out on intermediate tyres. We'll just show you the tyre detail now. Jake Benham also out on intermediate tyres, the current championship leader. Only 3 cars out at the moment. Lewis Welch just setting some laps in on mediums. Very interesting that Lewis Welch has actually adopted to go out on the medium straight away, because usually he would follow suit like many of them here, Andy, and set some initial laps on inters first. They like to do that, not to waste a set, don't they?
Yeah, well, it's quite interesting that Lewis tried to do that, because if you remember back to last week in Portimao, Jarno Opmeer also went out in Q1 on a set of medium tyres, and that made it very clear very early on that his plan was to start the race on the soft compound. So Louis Welsh, if he makes it through to Q3, looks like he's also going to be taking the same approach. So getting rid of those medium tyres nice and early. So is that an early idea that perhaps starting on the soft tyre might be the preferred strategy for a few drivers? Floris Viers and Michael Romanidis are in the pits at the minute, but I also see them donning mediums. Whether they change that before they come out onto the track, it remains to be seen, as Louis Welsh crosses the line and does a 1 minute 15.5 to go top of the times, and by quite some margin, as the only other 2 drivers to have done a time, Jake Benham and John Evans, did it on intermediates. And I can tell you folks that Jake Benham and John Evans are planning to do a last to first, as Louis Welsh goes off for a big spin on the exit of the Tamburello chicane. And that's what I was talking about, George. Don't get on the curbs, don't push too hard, don't get in the grass, because it will bite you, this track, and that's exactly what it's done to Louis Welsh. But as I was saying, Jake Benham, John Evans, they've just informed me they're doing a last to first. So they'll be starting at the back of the grid from this qualifying session.
Well, very interesting indeed, but certainly he won't be the first. He's certainly not the first, he won't be the last. Louis Welch spinning at Tamburello, of course. Here is Tomek Peradzik out on an outlap, very nearly collected by Louis Welch after that incident, but good to see Tomek back, and certainly here in the Mercedes, looking to try and move his way up the grid order. Certainly a very feisty character, and partnered alongside Veloce mainstay Jarno Opmeer, of course, former and current, should I say, F1 esports world champion. And coming off the back, as we said before, a win at the Circuit of the Americas. Great to see Jarno back in amongst us, of course, winning last time out at Portimao. And I'm sure that he'll be looking to come back again and maybe strike gold here at Imola, as we're now watching Tomek Peradzik make his way down the start-finish straight. Let's take you on a lap here of Imola here, folks, as we now ride on board with the Polish driver, the Polish machine, Tomek Peradzik, who makes his way down in towards the next left and next right. This very tricky chicane takes a lot of the curbs. You've got to watch the sausage curbs there on entrance and exit. A little bit squirrely as he makes his way out of Tamburello, heading down now towards Villeneuve. And again, you can take this one near enough flat out, but it's a delayed braking zone, so you've got to be careful. Tom Martinez goes out left as he makes his way around Tosa, and now Tomek will power out, heading up towards Piratella now, which is a very hidden corner. You've got a little bit of a crest, come over into the next left as he now makes his way round this left-hander, takes a lot of the curb on the exit, down through towards Acqua Minerale now. In the Mercedes, wants to try just progressively feather the throttle. Again, a little squirrely, and he's invalidated, Andy.
2 seconds there, but Tomek Peradzik there pushing very, very hard through the first sector, wasn't he? He was really, really on it, and very much on the push, but he's built out of this lap, George. But a few drivers out there on a set of soft tyres, and Jonas Ozildrum is one of them, and he's gone purple through the first sector, George. And here's a man that was looking very strong as well last week in qualifying, getting it into Q3 and looked very, very quick, and was one of the drivers threatening up towards the top of the order come the end of qualifying. So let's see what the Turkish driver can do as he heads up to the line. Should be quickest of all, and it is a 1:13.675 from the Haas driver to go quickest of all, and by quite a distance.
Yeah, it certainly does. 1:13.675, and that sends him near 2 seconds quicker than Lewis Welch, who is now down in P2. Tomek Peradzik in third. Looking further down now, Luke Smith out on a lap as well, as he makes his way through the fast first sector. and plenty of others out and about as well, including this man, Aston Martin F1 Esports driver Shanaka Clay, another man who's known to be at the top end, and we've seen him there on many an occasion. Certainly Aston Martin having a great season with none other than Lucas Blakely, who certainly did claim yet another victory the other day. Of course, is racking up the podiums, 5 podium finishes for Lucas Blakely, and certainly Shanaka Clay will be looking to do just that himself as well. Very feisty character, this man, isn't he?
Yeah, he sure is, Shanaka Clay, and he's out there pushing hard. The Aston Martin Esports driver, as you say, 23.9 through the first sector, and here he is then coming down to the most tricky chicanes of all, the Variante Alta chicane, and he pushes hard, takes a lot of curve through the first part, through the second part, keeps it all on the island and bails out. I think he must have been validated at some point there on that sector. Shanaka Clay bails out of that latest run, and the pressure on him in qualifying with no time on the board just yet. Who else we got out there on a lap, George? Let's have a look.
Yeah, plenty of others. Simon Perigny is also out on a lap as well. He's in sector 1. Plenty of them all making their way around this track. It's getting all very tight in the first sector. Oh, Lenny Papinta! Dearie me, a big smash heading into Villeneuve. He got it all wrong, heading over the curb, the tyre well over the top of the nose cone, and that is Lenny Papinta out of qualifying. A big moment heading into Villeneuve, Andy.
Yeah, I've just seen it there on the stream, George. Big moment, and we keep saying it, these curbs can bite, and that's exactly what's happened to Lenny Papinta. It spits him out, across the track he goes, and straight into the scene of the accident, and he is out of qualifying before it's barely begun, no time set, and he is in real trouble. And he's probably heading out of qualifying. Well, he is heading out of qualifying after that one. Who else we got out there at the minute? Simon Perigny, by the way, George. He's on a lap at the minute as his teammate Shanakinchi goes up into second place, and in fact Simon Perigny bails out in the final corner as he's invalidated the lap. Who else have we got out there on a quick lap at the minute? Antoine Desaluski, the Frenchman. He's on a lap at the minute, and he's attacking the Villeneuve chicane, where we've just seen Simon Perigny having his moment. Now into Tosa, where Lewis Hamilton, all the way back at the start of the season, seems so long ago now, George, doesn't it? Round 2 of the championship, had to engage reverse to get himself out of the barrier and recover onto the podium and that day, and now pushing hard for this downhill left-hander is Antoine Desaluski. So easy to track extend through there, sweeping downhill into Aqua Minerale. 2 double right-handers. It's a bit like Lesmo, but it's downhill, unlike Lesmo. Those 2 corners, and they come at you far quicker. Now Antoine Desaluski into the chicane, the Variante Alta, not carrying as much momentum as perhaps he would have liked. Felt a bit slow on the exit there for Antoine as he then swoops down the hill into Ravazza 1 and 2. Take all the curb you can on the right hand side to open up the corner, plenty of curb, then swoop into that final turn, then keep it within track limits and blast towards the line. Desaluski on a flyer. Where does it put him? B9, a 1:15.2 on the medium tyre, 3:10 slower than Otmir, who has also done his time on mediums.
Certainly has. Daniel Haddad as well, looking to come and join the party on soft tyres. You'd fancy him to be at the top end. Goes into P3 ahead of teammate Shanaka Clay. Of course, partnered up with Shanaka in the Aston Martin team at F1 Esports, and he goes a 1:14.002, 4/10 slower, or near enough, 3.5, 4/10 slower than Ulas Yildirim. Surely that just makes Ulas's lap that much better, Andy.
Yeah, very good lap from Ulas Yildirim at this stage of qualifying, looking very strong, just like he did last week. Looked very quick. So Daniel Haddad into third, very close between the 2 Aston Martin drivers. Who else we got out there, George, on a lap? Eduardo Leo, he was very strong last week. He's in the Alfa Romeo and coming around the final corner, just about keeps it within track limits as he heads the line. This is looking pretty quick, and he goes third quickest, a 1:13.8. So 3 drivers in the 1:13s. That's Ulas Yildirim, Shanakinchi, and Eduardo Leo, the 2 Turks leading the way.
Yeah, Eduardo Leo actually wowing the spectators last time as John Evans coming across the line on soft tyres. He actually stops before the line, obviously not looking to set an improvement lap, but incredible. Eduardo Leo, one of the surprise packages from last week, Andy. Remember, in the Mercedes, partnering Jarno Opmeer claims a 2nd place in what was a Mercedes lockout at the end of that race. They claimed a 1st and a 2nd place, and he was brilliant, wasn't he, at Portimao?
Oh yeah, it was absolutely fantastic at Portimao, was Eduardo Leo, and you know what, he's showing that form again. And he looks to me, George, like one of the rising stars, up and coming, and one that could potentially be on a par with the likes of Jake Benham, John Evans, and so on. So yeah, another rising star coming through, and there's so many of them, George, at the minute, and it's great to see them out there on the racetrack, showing their stuff in a great league like WOR, and it's a pleasure for us to commentate on them. They're so strong, looking so competitive, and they've all got great futures ahead of them. And yeah, Eduardo Leal really rising to the occasion at the minute. Just having a little look, George, at some of the lap times. Jan Watmier, who set that lap time on medium tyres with 3 minutes to go, that 14.9. You've got to feel that can't be very safe. And he'll have to go back out there, and he is going back out there on a set of softs.
Yeah, there you can see him, folks, leaving the pit lane. There's a couple of cars also making their way out. I spy an Alfa and a Ferrari making their way out onto the track. None other than Tom Martinez and Louis Welch, of course, former teammates here in WOR and PSGL. Very, very good friends as well. And they have a very, very good understanding. I know that Tom always sings the praises of the padman, Louis Welch, who I've got to say is extraordinary in what he could do with the handheld device, certainly on PC or PlayStation, wherever he might race. I know that he tends to adopt a more PC route nowadays, but incredible. Speaking of PlayStation as well, we've got the debut of another youngster. Juice Norjulik is now joining us here in this race as well, Andy. Tenacious on the PlayStation. He's having his first race here tonight on the PC platform.
Yeah, I actually didn't know what you said there, George. I lost you for a few minutes. Can you repeat that again?
Well, we got Juice Norjulik joining us here tonight in the PC Championship. Of course, he was primarily a PlayStation driver. He's making the transition here tonight for the very first time. And I've got to say, it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. He's looking quick, though. P7 currently in qualifying.
Tell you who's looking quick. Luke Smith. He's just gone quickest of all in a 1:13.6. And that is a very strong time from Luke Smith. But yeah, looking very strong from Luke Smith. What a lap time that is, a 1:13.6 to join Ulas Zeldrum at the front. Not often you see 2 Haas cars at the top of the time she's, George.
No, very minimal in fact. 0.02 of a second is pretty much the deficit. Nothing more than that, that's for sure, but still very, very good. And Haas actually 1 and 2 here in Q1. Obviously, still a long way to go. We've got another 2 qualifying sessions to come, but a very strong outing for both Haas cars. Jarno Watmier out on track as well. Let's join the Flying Dutchman for a hot lap as he comes through Tamburello now. Heads through the next left, and he's going to make his way down towards the Villeneuve chicane now. Gear 7 now, you can hold the throttle slightly, downshifts twice, into 5th, takes a lot of the curb on the escape as he makes his way up towards Tosa. Progressively downshifts now, feathering the throttle slightly, powering now up the hill. Yellow flags, now green being displayed as they head around the Piratella. This very fast left-hander, again, hold off the throttle, take a lot of the curb on the exit, heads down towards Aqua Minerale. The current F1 Esports World Champion once again looking to wow the WOR spectators here again. Variante Alta is next on his list. There's Luke Smith, current P1 sitter here in Q1. Jarno Watmier pushing again taking a lot of the escape, heading out of Variante Alta. He has got Ravazza coming up next. Another little slight bend here. This next right-hander curbs into the next left now, takes a lot of the curb on the escape again, powers round the next left here at Ravazza, past the pit lane now. Again, hugs on the inside line, that's where the speed is, and Jarno Watmier comes up towards the line. P7, no improvement here.
Yeah, 13.9, so he gets himself into 7th position as we begin to see some lap times further down the field. While you were talking about that one, Sam McBride popped up into 8th place. He was in the bottom 5. So we've lost Jake Benham, we've lost John Evans, we've lost Lenny Pepinter. We know that already. Simon Perigny's in the danger zone and needs a big lap at the minute. Louis Welch also needs a big lap. He invalidated his previous one, but Simon Perigny will be the first to see the flag of the drivers in the bottom 5. We know Benham and Evans have retired. They plan to start from the back. Lenny Pepinter put it in the wall, but here is Simon Perigny. Needs a big lap time. His teammates up in 3rd on a 1:13.7. Perigny needs a big time, and he needs it now. He comes to the line. He only goes 14th quickest, and on the medium tyre. Michael Romanidis behind him goes quickest of all. Pushes Perigny onto the bubble. Now it's all on what Tom Martinez and Louis Welch can do. Will Simon Perigny be saved by poor laps from those drivers? First up, it's Louis Welch. Into the first Travacci he goes, and now into the second one, the Padman looking to send Simon Perigny out of qualifying. Louis Welch, can he do it? He can, only just pops himself into 15th place. What about Tom Martinez? Can he knock Louis Welch back into trouble? He can not do that. He's out of qualifying with Simon Perigny, Jake Benham, John Evans and Lenny Pepinter.
Yeah, I can't help but feel that that's going to be a huge blow for Tom Martinez. Of course, Tom97, a lot of you will know him as a YouTuber, has been absolutely sensational this year on PC, is a race winner as well. He won the Canadian Grand Prix earlier on in the season, but is unable to capture that same pace here at Imola. He is out in Q1. We're losing Simon Perigny as well, despite setting a very good lap on medium tyres, just could not displace any of them on the softs at the top end, but further up as well, how about Jarno Opmeer? Is it the case we have yet to see the best of the Dutchman, Andy? I'm not sure he'll be that happy with that P11 in Q1.
Yeah, I'm sure we're still to see the best of him. I know last week we didn't see the best of him right till the end of qualifying, did we? So I'm sure there's more to come from up here. He'll just be thinking, that's job done, I'm into the next part of qualifying, and through he goes. But real disappointment for Tom Martinez with that 14.4. I thought he was going to do it, but he misses out, and just by the skin of his teeth, Louis Welch, the padman, gets through. I can only presume that was a mistake from Simon Perigny to fit the medium tyres, and it's cost him dear. He is out in Q1, joining Lenny Papinter, John Evans and Jake Benham.
Well, let's just take a look at the top end. Just look at this, folks. 10th of a second. That is everyone in the top 5. They're all within it. And take a look at that. Floris Veers is also part of them. But Michael Romanidis takes P1 here in this session. And certainly on top here in Q1 as well. But we are losing Tom Martinez, Simon Perigny, Jake Benham, John Evans and Lenny Papinter. Jake Benham and John Evans both going for that last to first, of course, setting no time on slick tyres. They both set times on intermediates, but Lenny Papinter crashing out at the earliest, well, the earlier moments, the earlier echelons of Q1. But what a session, Andy. Incredible lap from Romanidis to park himself on pole position. I get the feeling he sort of went under the radar slightly. But, of course, he is now in the Williams F1 Esports team, has been in their academy format now for quite some time, obviously, became of age, and is now starting to become a real hot gunner here for the Williams team. And great to see him up at the top end. Strong first session as well from the Haas team as well. Mercedes getting through as well, but I get the feeling there might be some concerns from Jarno Opmeer after that Q1 performance.
Perhaps, George. Perhaps there will be. We'll have to wait and see. But we said at the start of the session, the drivers don't want to take any risks around this racetrack. We saw Lenny Papinter's taking a risk and crashed. So maybe Opmeer, he did that first lap on the medium tyres. Maybe he just didn't want to invalidate his lap. Just cautious, get the job done. Through he goes. 3 tenths down, not spectacular, nothing special, nothing flashy. But the bottom line is he's through to the next part of qualifying. I'm sure everyone watching will be wondering, and like ourselves, George, that could be a reason for concern. But I'm not too sure yet. I think we need to give it Q2, see how they're looking in Q2, and then we can judge for real. But certainly Luke Smith and Ulas Ojildrum in the Haas cars looking very strong again, as is Chanakinchi. So good laps from them. Floris Veers as well in the Ferrari getting through comfortably as well in 5th place. So yeah, a few good performances there in Q1 at the top end.
Yeah, and I would just like to thank each and every one of you in the live chat as well. We really appreciate all the support that we've had here at World Online Racing, of course. And if you keep showing your support, tuning in, we've got plenty of tiers, plenty of platforms, lots of action, certainly aside from this one here in the top tier of PC Racing. And it's a pleasure to do this for you, folks. We've got many, many great staff members who work so hard to bring this to you week in, week out. Big thank you to all of you for tuning in. And I want to hear from you as well. Who do you think is getting eliminated out of Q2? Please land your comments in the live chat. Who do you think is going to go fastest here at this very poignant point? Because now, Andy, this is where tyre strategy comes in. This is where you might see a few drivers. I know Jarno Opmeer likes to go for the longer strat. He likes to go for the undercut. He likes an aggressive strategy. Do you think we could see a lot of alternate strats here at Imola?
Yeah, well, I'm not too sure, George. I think most will go for the soft tyre because so many drivers opted for that medium in Q1, didn't they, for the first run? So that says that those medium tyres are used up. So I'm expecting the majority of drivers to go for a lap on softs, George. I really don't think there'll be too many on mediums. Saying that, Ulas Ojildrum, Sam McBride and Floris Veers have gone out on the mediums. So, yeah, maybe there will be some alternate strategy. But the fact that we've seen so many use the mediums in Q1 makes me think the majority will do their fastest laps on a set of soft tyres.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. It's currently a bit of an even divide going on here. Plenty of cars out on softs, plenty of cars out on mediums as well. They can't seem to decide, but there's only one car in the pit lane, and that's Lewis Welch right now. Sam McBride out on an outlap, so's Juice Norgic, as well as Floris Veers, and of course Chanakinchi. Antoine Desalewski there as well. Tomek Peradzik, though, is going to be the first to set a lap here in this second session of qualifying. Around comes now Peradzik, the flying pole, who certainly does like pole position. Can he land a P1 to get Q2 underway? Comes up towards the line. Certainly Peradzik, can he unleash it in the softs? Not this time. He will have to go again. I believe that was an invalidation. Jarno Opmeer, though, his teammate, also out on a lap. He's coming around the final corner as Romanidis lands P1 yet again.
Yeah, Ottmere then coming to the line, 14.6 from Romanidis on the medium tyre. What can Ottmere do on the softs? A 14.5, beats it by a 10. That's not a particularly special lap from Jarno Ottmere, unless there's an issue with the tyre graphics. I'm not too sure. Jonas Ildrum is out there on a set of medium tyres. Where will he compare to some of the drivers out there like Romanidis on the mediums, as we keep an eye on? I think the two Astons are in the final corner, aren't they? Shinaka Clay not on a lap. Daniel Haddad has abandoned his lap, so we'll stick with Jonas Ildrum for now. Apologies, George, if you're flicking between cameras here. Ildrum to the line, and he's not 100% the quick one. It's only a 17.3 from Jonas, so poor lap from him.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not getting things under a positive start from Ulas, but we've still got well over 10 minutes left to go in quali. Eduardo Leo also out on a lap 2. He's currently making his way out of the Variante Alta. They're making his way down through as Antoine Desalewski goes up into P1 and immediately strikes off 0.2 of a second off Jarno Ottmere's soft tyre time. Could be a good weekend here for Antoine.
I know it's early days, George, in Q2, but I didn't expect them to be way back in the 14s on the soft tyres. I know as the session goes on, the track ramps up, but I thought we'd be right into the 13s like we were in the previous qualifying session. So a little bit strange, if you ask me, to see so many drivers on the softs in the mid 1 minute 14s. So a strange one, but we'll see what the two Aston Martins can do. Shinaka Clay's abandoned his current lap. Daniele Haddad out there on a lap at the minute, George, and he's gone purple through the first sector, but he's actually not going very quickly in the middle sector, so I don't know what's going on, but nobody at the minute able to set a quick lap at the minute.
No, not at all. Still time will tell. Chanakinchi out as well. He's coming around the next left out of Rivazza as well. He's going to come up towards the line on medium tyres. Let's see what the Alpine can do as he does come across the line. P6 is where he sits. And looking for the down Samet Breitner making his way out, as well as Luke Smith, who was also one of the fastest contenders out and about on track. Just looking back at the pronunciation here of Juiced, of course. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of a tip. I know I've been saying Nordic, but I get the feeling from the way it's spelled, I'm going to go with the Virgil van Dijk methodology around this. I'm going to go with Juice Nordyke. Is that absolutely right, Andy?
Well, don't ask me, I'm not Dutch. But I would go with just Noordijk. That's what I would go with. Noordijk.
We're going to go with Noordijk, folks. I hope we're absolutely right. I'm going off a proven method, and that is copying commentators from football who pronounce it Virgil van Dijk. So we're going to say it's going to be Juice Noordijk. Juiced, if you can clarify and let us know if that is correct after the stream, please let us know. We would really appreciate it. But incredible indeed. Nevertheless, the man from PlayStation, who is now with us here on the PC, up in P11 right now, yet to set a lap time. And we'll have to see what he can do. Certainly on soft tyres, is yet to come out the pit lane. Plenty of cars out and about. Sam McBride also making his way around. Plenty of other cars though. Ulas Ildrim is also making his way through, though he is going slower here in sector 3 now, as I'd imagine you'll bail into the pit lane to set a new, or put a new set of tyres on. Sam McBride, the current only, I'd say, the one man who's out on a fast lap, Andy, and certainly looking to set a fast one here as he ran to the next left. It's a big race here for Sam McBride, isn't it?
Yeah, big race for Sam McBride. He'll be looking to put in a good performance as he goes way off the track there through the second part of the Aquamena Rally section of the track, but he is 10th quickest at the minute. I think, George, Tomek Paradzis is just starting a flying lap out there on a set of medium tyres, so let's see what he can do. However, so far, the most impressive lap we've seen is from Ulas Ildrum on the mediums. He's gone quicker than both Romanidis and Chanakinchi so far on mediums, so that's been the most impressive time we've seen so far. Let's see how Tomek Paradzis, the Polish Eagle, can line up against that. Can he get into a low 1 minute 14? Well, he's done a good first sector. It's a 24 flat through the first sector as he makes his way up the hill, exiting Tosa now, and then climbing up the hill towards Piratella. Let's see how he gets on through there. Piratella flying through the Atomic, pushing really hard, back end, sliding all over the place as he swoops now into Aquamena Rally. Get on the throttle nice and early, straighten up the exit, and then pile down towards the Variante chicane, the Alta, and through he goes, flying there, and Daniele Haddad just in front of him. Hopefully he'll jump out the way as he flies through the Variante Alta and then down towards the two Rivazzas, 1 and 2. Will he get a nice little toe off Antoine Desalewski in front? We'll wait and see. Tomek getting the nose turned in, carrying plenty of momentum through the first part. Little wobble through the second part, but it's looking like a pretty tidy lap. He'll get a little toe, and he should be up towards the front. He goes 4th quickest in a 14.5, but still slower than Ulas Ildrum's lap. on a medium tyre, George.
And crucially, slower than his teammate Jarno Opmeer, who's also out on a flying lap as well. And he's gone 2/10 quicker in the first sector, at least over 2/10 quicker, in fact, as he makes his way out now. And certainly making his way up towards the next left-hander now, the Flying Dutchman. Can he land yet another big blow here in WOR? Can he land a second win in a row? That is the big question as he comes up through Aqua Minerale. Romanidis up into P1 with a sensational 113.747. The only man in the 113s. Now, you said those 14s were slow, Andy, and I think you've just been proven right by Romanidis.
Yeah, absolutely. I was waiting for everyone to, start putting the throttle down, and finally we're starting to see it from a few drivers, but it looks like quite a lot of them are going to try and qualify on medium tyres. But let's see how Jarno Opmeer lines up. He's half a second quicker than his previous best. This will go straight into the 13s. By how much, though? A 1 minute 13.8 from Jarno Opmeer. Slower, though, than Romanidis. Not too quick at the minute, I've got to be honest, George. I was expecting quicker.
Yeah, no, he's actually, well, he's just under 1/10 of a second slower than Michael Romanidis. So uncertainty creeping into the mindset of the Flying Dutchman right now. Plenty of other cars out and about on track as Danny Elliott-Dad moves up into P2 with a 113.824. It goes and splits Jarno Opmeer and Michael Romanidis. Romanidis, I tell you what, something about this track, Andy, he seems to like it. He nailed a P1 in Q1. He's now looking to do the same in Q2.
You there, George? Yeah?
Yeah. Have we lost you, Andy? You back?
No, yeah, you keep jumping on me. That's a couple of times it's happened now, but I'm still here, George, don't worry. Just intermittently. But I've got you back, don't worry. As we continue with the action, who are we on board with at the minute, George?
Danny Elliott-Dad. He's just split Romanidis and Opmeer. Romanidis now, incredible stuff. Obviously, he got P1 in Q1. He's now P1 in Q2 as well. So he's in flying form right now.
Yeah, he's looking very, very strong, isn't he, Michael Romanidis? As you said, just before you cut out on me, looking very strong, really enjoys this racetrack, and he's looking pretty good at the minute. We've not got long to go in qualifying. Let's wait and see if we can, see if anyone else is out there and can improve. Antoine Desaluski, now he's coming into the pits. No improvements from anyone out there at the minute, but I think we're going to see quite a few drivers jumping onto the soft tyres at the end of this session, George. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, 4 minutes left to go, folks, as we now see Antoine Desaluski come into the pit lane. P4 he currently sits, and it's going to be a shotgun finale now towards the end of quali. There's Danny Elliott-Dad. He's on a cool down lap after setting an absolutely superb 113.824, but Michael Romanidis right in the book on fast laps here at the moment here at Imola. P1 yet again here in the dying minutes of Q2. That could be absolutely massive. We've had some clarification, thankfully, off VSR Brett. It is Joost. His name is Joost Noordijk. It's Joost. It's toast with a Y, Andy.
Yeah, and I like toast. So, yeah, good lap. Good stuff then. Thanks for clarifying that one, Brett. These Dutch names, we struggle with them, George, but we're getting the hang of it, aren't we? I suppose. And we've got everyone, absolutely everyone, in the pit lane at the minute as we wait to see what tyres some of these drivers are going to go on then. Julas Osjeldrum, who was setting his previous lap on the medium tyre, has gone out now in a set of softs, so he's not happy with that time. But by the way, I've only just noticed, look at that time from Eduardo Leo, a 1:14.1 on medium tyres. That's some 3/10 quicker, almost 4/10 quicker than what anyone else has done on that tyre in this session.
Yeah, and I just want to point out as well, he was sensational last week. I mean, we looked at it. What a phenomenal performance at Portimao, and he's come back here in another great vein of form. He's looking very vibrant, certainly in the Alfa Romeo. Of course, different car this week. He was in the Mercedes last week. Big question marks as to whether he can perform again in a different car. I know they're set to equal performance, but any changes can be certainly hazardous to your progression as a driver or your consistency. But certainly Eduardo Leo now in the Alfa Romeo, having a great qualifying session so far, getting out of Q1. He's in Q2, he's in the top 10, lying in P6. And he looks comfortable. He looks like he belongs out there, which is amazing to see. There's plenty of other cars certainly vying for a place in Q3 right now. This is going to be a helter-skelter finale here in Q2, Andy.
Yeah, it sure is, because we've not yet toppled the lap time we saw in Q1 from Michael Romanidis, which was a 13.6. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see the cars go a lot quicker at the end of this session, now that everyone's putting on a set of soft tyres. I've got to say, that lap from Eduardo Leo, I won 14-1 on medium tyres. That's absolutely outrageous, George. It really is. Some 3/10 quicker than anyone else. But Ulas Ozyeldrim is setting the timing screens alight with a 23.8 for the first sector. He's gone purple through that section. So the Turkish driver looking pretty strong for the second week in a row in qualifying as he attacks the racetrack then, using all the curb he can get away with as he sweeps downhill into Acqua Minerale. It's like the two Degnas at Suzuka as he pushes on now, climbing up the hill, and then approaches the Variante Alta chicane then, moving over to the left-hand side, brake at 50 metres, bounce across the curbs, carry the momentum, as much momentum as you can, and then power on towards the two Ravatsas. So Ulas Ozyeldrim going to be the first man in this session to complete his final lap. The quickest time at the minute from Michael Romanidis, a 1:13.7. He's in the garage. He's not coming out for a second run. He's happy with that. Can Ulas Ozyeldrim beat him with this lap? It looks pretty good. It's a brilliant lap. A 1:13.593, the quickest we've seen so far.
Yeah, just under just about 1.5 tenths of a second quicker than Michael Romanidis. The track is getting warmer, folks. The track is getting warmer. Shanaka Clay coming through as well. Plenty of others. Andy, you've got some news for us.
Yeah, Noordijk's up to the line now, George. He's looking very, very quick. This is a very strong lap. 1:13.7 from him. He goes third.
Brilliant stuff there from Joost Noordijk, and that's going to place him in P3. They're all coming across the line now. Antoine Desilewski in the middle sector. There you can see Shanaka Clay now coming around. Floris Viers goes up into P2 and strips Michael Romanidis of his second place. Here comes now Shanaka Clay. He moves up to P8, not enough to get into the top end. Now that it could be very, very much danger there for the Aston Martin. Plenty of others out on track though as well. Tomek Peradzik out on a fast lap. Jarno Watmir also in the first sector. Plenty of them looking to improve. Ruben Pedreño is up into P4 now, just in behind his teammate Michael Romanidis. As we're now seeing Chana Kinchi out of sector 2 now, making his way around the next left, around the certainly down the stretch now, down towards Acqua Minerale. Andy, it's a shotgun finale. The times at the top, they're all changing.
Yeah, Antoine Desilewski's crossed the line. He's the first man to see the flag. He's done a 13.7. So let's go to Chana Kinchi. It looks like trouble for Shanaka Clay unless he's on another lap, because that was not a very good lap from him, was it? Chana Kinchi then pushing on, 13th at the minute. Needs to get into that top 10. Can he do it? Eduardo Leo is currently in that top 10 with a 14.1, but so many drivers in that bottom 5 have yet to do a lap on the soft tyre. So that's a moving target. Chana Kinchi, you'd think it needs to be a mid 1:13 to be sure. It is a 1:13. He goes 7th quickest with a 1:13.7. Sam McBride, he's out, 1:13.8.
Yeah, it certainly is. Joost Noordijk as well, making his way through. And Tomek Peradzik up into second place as well. Joost Noordijk making his way through the final chicane out of Variante Alta. He's now going to be making his way down towards Ravatsar as we're seeing some real jumble. Jarno Watmir is now in danger of losing it here, as we're seeing still Floris Viers up into P4 as well. Joost Noordijk making his way out to the final. Couple of left-handers at Ravatsar. He's bailing into the pit lane. He's out of qualifying. Ruben Pedreño is still out and about as well on a cool-down lap. But the news is Jarno Watmir just about stays in qualifying, Andy. Phenomenal.
Very close, George. Very, very close. And this is the point in qualifying where I said I would start to judge drivers on their performance thus far. And I've got to say, Jarno Watmir not looking too convincing around this Imola circuit. We shouldn't write him off. He is the F1 Esports champion and championship leader currently, but that 13.7 just enough to squeak through by less than half a tenth. Jarno Watmir, just by the skin of his teeth, makes it into the next part of qualifying. But it's Joost Noordijk, Daniele Haddad, Sam McBride, Shanaka Clay and Louis Welch that miss out. But yeah, the big story, Watmir just squeezing through. But look at the time from Ulas Ozyeldrim, looking strong again, as is Eduardo Leo.
Yeah, well, the other big news as well, both Aston Martin drivers, F1 Esports Select drivers, out of Q2 as well, Andy. That is huge news. Shanaka Clay out, Daniele Haddad out. Absolutely incredible. Two of the drivers we would have expected going into Q3. Ulas Ozyeldrim tops the timing sheets here in Q2, and on soft tyres, a 1:13.593, near enough about 3/100ths of a second the difference between them. Incredible. Eduardo Leo, though, What a performance. He's in P2 here at this session. Tomek Peradžić in behind him. The gap, the quality gap, getting smaller and smaller, but we're going to lose Joost Noordijk as well as Daniel Haddad. That's a big scalp certainly here in Q2. Sam McBride out as well, with Shanaka Clay out and Lewis Welch. The pad man is out as well, Andy. Loads of big casualties out in Q2. I don't think we expected to see the Aston Martin boys out though. No,
I don't think we did, George. And I've got to say, I'm looking at this qualifying and what we've seen so could have a surprise winner this weekend. I really do. I think we could have a surprise pole sitter and a surprise winner. I think Julas Ozildrum's looking strong, as is Eduardo Leo. In fact, I'd go as far as say Eduardo Leo is my pick for pole, but Romanidis is right there looking strong as well.
He certainly is, and it's sensational, absolutely sensational to hear, these phenomenal different matters happening out here on track. I'm absolutely blown away by these current circumstances. Q2, phenomenal. Big news, of course, Aston Martin will not be partaking here now in Q3, and this is what's going to decide the top 10 now, leading out onto the race now, folks. They've got to go for it now. This is the shotgun qualifying that we all know and love. 2 laps they usually put in a session like this. You get the first one in, which is usually a banker, and then it's all out for the final lap, and there's going to be a lot of drama certainly here at Imola. They're all going out on outlaps now. Tomek Peradžić, one of the first drivers out and about, as well as Floris Fiers. Luke Smith out on track, so is Anton Desilewski. It all kicks off here, Andy.
It sure does then. So everyone, get your predictions in. Who are you going for pole position? We want to know in the comments section. Who are you going for pole? I'm going to stick my neck on the line. I am going to go Eduardo Leo for pole position. George, what are you going for?
He was sensational last week, Eduardo Leo. I've got to say, you would not be wrong going for him, Andy. There's certainly plenty of quality drivers out there, though. I'm going to put my hat in the ring and say that Julas Ozildrum could scoop it up.
Okay.
I like the time he presented in Q2. Please land your comments in the live chat, folks. A lot of comments here for Jarno. I can see that Max Van has gone for Jarno as well. We've got plenty of others, including many of them. Max Van says that Jarno's going to get pole. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Kadir Kagalan, I'm sorry if I got that totally wrong. He's going for Julas, I think, in the live chat. Trey's going for Leo as well. We've got Jackie Tang going for Jarno as well. Crispy going for Mufa's going to win. Looking there as well. Romanidis says Floris as well. Marcus saying Floris for pole. Amazing, all of you having diverse opinions in the live chat, folks, and that's what creates competition. We love it here at WOR. Please make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Let's get into qualifying, Andy.
Yeah, thanks to everyone for leaving their comments. We love that interaction, and it just shows you with so many different people going for different choices just how competitive and close it is. It's not like real Formula 1 when it's going to be a Mercedes or a Red Bull. You just don't know who's going to do the best this year. And Tomek Peradžić is out there and going very quickly through the first sector, isn't he? Luke Smith just up ahead of him though, George, and he'll be first to do a lap. So let's see what he can do. He's been the nearly man in recent weeks. He was so strong last week in qualifying in Portimao, but faded in Q3. Is it going to be the other way round for Luke Smith today? Is he going to deliver his best right at the end and peak in Q3? It all remains to be seen. We're going to find out over the course of the next 9 minutes or so.
Yeah, we certainly are. He comes out of the very anti-alta now. Luke Smith looking to try and nail the first lap time on the board here in Q3. Brace yourself, folks. We're going to be in for a hellacious ride here in the WOR PC Championship here at Imola. Incredible so far, the drama. It's been escalating. Floris Fiers lands a time of 1:13.963. We can go quicker. So Luke Smith though into P2. Tomek Peradžić goes quickest with approximately 0.3 of a second. Faster than Floris Fiers into P1. Incredible. Julas Ozildrum coming out of Sector 1 as well. Chanakinci now moving into Sector 3. Many of them coming through. Ruben Pedreño, he's coming across the line to nail a first lap time, and he's invalidated as well. Chanakinci coming down now into the Ravazza corner here in the Alpine, looking to nail his first fast lap here in Q3. Rubs over the curbs and invalidation. He's in the pits, Andy.
Yeah, real letdown for him there. That's so frustrating, so easy to do that coming out of that final corner. There just is no margin for error on the exit of that corner. Meanwhile, your pick for pole, Julas Ozildrum going to the line, but he's not on a quick lap. It's only going to be a 1:18.8 from Julas Ozildrum. So we now have to wait. Eduardo Leo, Jarno Opia, both on outlaps. Michael Romanidis is out there and pushing hard. The Greek driver on a charge in the Williams.
He certainly is, and I got to say, he was quickest in Q1. Remember, he did try to attack the top end in Q2. Unfortunately, Ulas got there in the end, but still, nonetheless, this Greek driver is sensational. He comes out of Variante Alta now, coming down this next straight, and will certainly join them round the Ravazza now, round the double left at turn 17 and 18. There's a little curvature at turn 19 to the right. We'll hug into the inside line as he comes up, and I believe as he now hugs the inside line towards the line, P2 is where he ends up, just in behind Tomek Peradžić. Very, very positive from the Williams driver.
Yeah, good lap there from Romanidis, showing that he is going to compete for pole. The pace we've seen so far, that is vindication that he is going to be in the fight for pole. Here is Eduardo Leo then, pushing on his first flying lap of the session, really leaving it nothing on the table as he went through Acqua Minerale, as he now heads into the Variante Alta, hopping over the curbs, and he tell you what, he's done that brilliantly. He's carried the momentum, he's not scrubbed off too much speed. This is looking very good for the Alfa Romeo driver, who's been sensational so far. The reason I've backed him for pole was that brilliant 14-1 we saw on the medium tyres. Is he going to back it up with a great lap in qualifying? Looking absolutely superb through the two Ravazzas up to the line. Is he quickest? Wow. He smashed them, absolutely smashed them. 1 minute 13.398, obliterates them. What can Otmir do?
That's an incredible lap from Eduardo Leo. We saw his pace at Portimao last week, and he's done it again as we now watch Jarno Otmir come out of the Piratella down through Acqua Minerale, says the Flying Dutchman. Comes up now, feathering the throttle, looking to try and land the softs at the top end to join his teammate from last week. Leo, what a lap! Incredible! 2.5 tenths of a second the difference between Tomek Peradžić. That is massive, absolutely massive. Jarno Otmir now coming down now into the next left, soon to be at the Ravazza corner. 3 corners left. He comes out of one of them, 2 remain. Comes out of the second Ravazza corner, comes through, past now turn 19 across the line. The Dutchman in 4th. It's not good enough, Andy. It's not good enough.
Okay, I'm just going to say it now. Absolutely nobody's beating that lap. Nobody is going to beat that lap. That was absolutely incredible from Eduardo Leo. The speed he was able to carry, he didn't... That's to perfection. What a lap time. That was something very, very special from Eduardo Leo. Very special.
It certainly was. An incredible lap indeed. A 1:13.398. So, well, currently holds P1 right now. Eduardo Leo. What a strong showing here in Q3. And this is where it counts, folks. Pulling this off in a Q3 situation where it's high intensity, high drama, high struggle. He wasn't struggling at all. That was a calm, perfected lap. And I have to say, it's going to be a tough one to beat. Where has this man come from? Certainly now, though, Chanakinchi making his way down into the next chicane now at Variante Alta. He's got a lot of work to do. Currently sits in P9, runs wide there slightly, heading out to Variante Alta as he makes his way down towards the Ravazza. He's got to worm his way around now, turn 16. He's got turn 17 and 18 now as he comes through 17. Round 18 here at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix qualifying session in Q3. Comes through turn 19 now. Chanakinchi, where you going to be? 4th place he lands here. He's in the top 5 and ahead of Jarno Otmir.
Yeah, it was a good lap from Chanakinchi. Steady stuff, nothing compared to Eduardo Leo, but still very, very strong. Eduardo Leo is in a league of his own here. He's almost 3 tenths clear of the rest. It's absolutely outrageous what we've just seen from him. Can anyone get anywhere near it? I will be stunned if they can, and if they do, I'll take my hat off to them. But I tell you what, it's going to take something monumental through Sector 2 and 3. I've not looked at the sector times yet. I'm just going by what I've seen on board from Eduardo Leo. I'm going to have a look at them now, because I'm pretty sure that final sector and middle sector from Eduardo Leo was something special. 24.3 he did through the final sector. 24.5 is all that Tomek did. He was 2 tenths quicker than Tomek in the final sector.
Andy, what does that do to the rest of the field? What does that do to the likes of Jarno Otmirs and Michael Romanidis and Chanakinchis? Because, you know, that puts the pressure on massively now. Eduardo Leo getting out of the blocks in Q3 and he's smashing it. It's incredible.
Yeah, George, and just to ram the point home, he's 2 tenths quicker than Peradžić in the final sector. He's 2 tenths quicker than Romanidis in the final sector. He's 3 tenths quicker than Chanakinchi in the final sector. He's even 3 tenths quicker than Otmir through the final sector. It was a monumental final sector. It was so good.
Well, I tell you what, we can analyse it till the cows come home, folks. Incredible from Eduardo Leo. And we said about this young driver, I know I keep harping on about it, but that Portimao performance, that second place, despite finishing behind the Dutchman Jarno Opmeer, it's still nevertheless a quality result that led to a Mercedes P1 and P2. He's here in the Alfa Romeo tonight, and I have to say, he's brought it to the table where it matters most, of course. Q3 is where it's at. It's what decides where you're going to start in the top 10. If you're going to start kicking out lap times, now's the time to do it. And Leo, top of the billing right now. I mean, does he bother to come out and set a second lap, Andy?
Yeah, he is coming out. To be honest, I don't think he needs to, because it was that special, but I could be wrong. I could be setting myself up to get shot down here. We'll wait and see, but it's going to take something special. I was on board with them through that final sector, and it was absolutely perfect. Surely that ain't going to get toppled as the flying laps begin then. Both Williamses are out there. Romanidis is out there, but Ruben Pedreño will be first. But you're seeing Ulas Ogielgrim even further up the road, George. But he's invalidated, I have to say.
Well, he's invalidated, so Ulas will have to go again. So Ruben Pedreño is out and about now as well, makes his way around the next left at Tosa, and he's going to make the almighty climb around Piratella. Just how key is this Sector 2, Andy? Because I get the feeling from a lot of the drivers, certainly if you look at Eduardo Leo's lap, you said that final sector was massive, but surely the major time to gain is in that middle sector around Aqua Minerale.
I actually think the most time to gain is on the exit of this corner here, the Variante Alta chicane. You have to scrub off so much speed on entry, George. It's all about carrying it on exit, and as you can see, Ruben Pedreño has failed to do that. He's tried to find some time there, carry speed on exit. He's invalidated the lap though. That's where the time is. That's where we saw Eduardo Leo carry speed on exit. He was able to keep the momentum up, but it's a long run down the hill to the Vatsa one. If you can keep momentum there, you're onto a good lap. That's the key for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Romanidis now making his way down the field. Of course, he's on an invalidated lap as well. Tomek is warming up the tyres. He's on an invalidation, or I think he's just warming up. Probably made a mistake. Floris Viers is also out and about with the battery flashing as well. He's on a slow lap. You get the feeling they're all on slow burners. Antoine Desaluski out on a lap, though, making his way into the Villeneuve chicane, and he's going to look to try and nestle up at the top end. The sole McLaren in Q3, Andy.
Yeah, Antoine Desaluski out there on a quick lap, as is Ulas Ogielgrim, who is a little bit further up the road, George, so I would go with him to see what he can do first, and then we'll jump across to Antoine Desaluski for the remaining part of the session. Ulas Ogielgrim then, what's that middle sector looking like? A low 40, oh, that's good. That is good, George. 48.9 is strong through the middle sector, and he does carry a good bit of speed through the middle sector, so I think this is looking good for at least second, and if he can keep it tidy through the final few corners, he might be threatening Eduardo Leo, because that was pretty strong from Ulas Ogielgrim. Into the final corner he goes, and he takes a lot of curb, carries the speed through the corner. This could threaten, this could be on from Ulas Ogielgrim. He's just missed out a 1:13.464, but that was much better.
Yeah, incredible lap there, certainly, and he's going to have a friend joining him shortly. Antoine Desaluski in behind, currently not even enough to scrape the barrel of Ulas Ogielgrim's time. He's down in P3 now as well. Tomek Peradžić also out on a quick lap. He's got slightly quicker. He comes out of Variante Alta now, marching his way around the next left, soon to be down towards Ravazza. Such a key final few corners now for Tomek Peradžić to park that Mercedes up at the top end. He now rounds the second to last corner, as now round the next right at turn 19, opens up the DRS. P1 for Peradžić out of nowhere, massive 200ths of a second quicker than Eduardo Leo. Majestic.
George, here comes Leo. He's a 10th quicker than what he did the previous time. He's coming again with an even better lap. A 1:13.2. He beats them all. What about Opmeer? He's coming to the line. A 13.4. He's only third. Eduardo Leo snatches it at the death. Floris Viers was bailed out of his lap, and Eduardo Leo steals it right at the end, just when he thought it had been stolen from underneath his nose. What a qualifying session.
What a moment here at the end of qualifying. Ulas Ogielgrim was up there. Eduardo Leo was up there. Peradžić thought he stole it, but it was Eduardo Leo with an incredible lap, a 1:13.271, a clutch finale at the end of Q3 here at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix qualifying session Q3 to be exact. Tomek Peradžić in behind. What a moment. Thought he stole it. A 1:13.375. It would be the top time on anyone else's day. But Andy, a whole incredible 10th of a second faster. You just can't write it. Incredible.
Absolutely incredible, George. That is probably one of the best sessions we've seen this year. I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed it. Eduardo Leo coming of age in that qualifying section. It has to be said, that was sensational. The first lap was incredible. To beat it on the second lap and for Tomek to even topple it in the first place was absolutely incredible. But Eduardo Leo coming up with something superb. A 10th up to the middle sector. He found some time there. He just had to maintain what he did on the previous lap in the final sector and the job was done. And that's exactly what he did. Pole position by a 10th and well deserved. Could he be on for his first win this season in WOR?
Andy, I'm blown away. I mean, this tonight, surely, if Leo can hold on to that pace throughout the lap, now it's all well and good doing it in qualifying, but the question is, can you bring your A game to a race environment? Now, he's going to have a lot of vultures in behind him now, looking to try and overtake him during the race, just anything to hinder his pace. But he's in the perfect scenario now. He's on pole position. He was incredibly quick on medium tyres in Q2. I mean, this could be Leo's race. I mean, he's looking very prominent, but he's got to do it in race trim. That is the key point to make.
Yeah, he's got to do it in race trim. But George, I think he can do it in race trim. I really do. I fancy him for this victory tonight. I really do. But this is what we love in league racing and we love in WOR. These young drivers coming through, coming of age, showing their potential, showing their pace. And that's exactly what we've seen tonight from Eduardo Leo. Fantastic laps in qualifying. Tomek Paradzis himself, he's still very young as well, isn't he? Brilliant from him too. And yeah, it's great to see. This is what it's all about here in WOR, and I'm glad everyone's enjoying it, tuning in, watching. Some 250 of you tuning in for this so far. So thanks for joining us, folks, and I hope you've been treated because we're certainly enjoying it.
Well, if we ever... Have you ever seen the film Road to El Dorado, Andy? Have you ever seen the film?
No,
you
I'm
haven't?
not.
Well, I can just tell you, the comments in the live chat, the Eduardo Leo Road to F1 Esports. How about that? I mean, that could be the case. That could sell. I've just seen the comment there. Certainly from Nardi Perez, of course. Bernardo Perez, some of you may know him as a former top-tier driver himself. Incredible. I like that one, Bernardo. Very good indeed. We want to hear from you folks now as we head into the formation lap. There you can see them all stringing up. There's Eduardo Leo there. Who do you think is going to win the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix here at World Online Racing, WOR, the PC Tier 1 race here. 3 races left to go in the championship. Jake Benham and John Evans both towards the back. Benham chasing his first world title. I'm going to go to you again, Andy. Who do you think is going to win this one here tonight? Are you still sticking with your pick from Q3? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I am. Eduardo Leo or Tomek, but I'm going to go Eduardo Leo. I think he's looking very strong. You can never write off Jarno Opmeer with the experience, the consistency that he shows over the course of a race, but I really do have a good feeling about Eduardo Leo tonight. I just don't think Jarno is on the same pace as these two at the front tonight. I honestly don't think that, but you know, he does have the experience. He has got a habit of making the right decisions, so you cannot write him off. One of the top 3, but I am going to stick with my guns from qualifying. Eduardo Leo to take the victory. Top 10, by the way, all on softs. Everyone outside the top 10 on mediums except Simon Perigny, who seems to be doing the opposite of everyone today, because he did that lap in Q1 where he got knocked out on mediums, didn't he?
Yeah, he certainly did, and we'll have to wait and see how this certainly brings into effect during the race. We'll have to wait and see, folks. Obviously, please leave your comments in the live chat, folks. We want to hear from you. Who do you think is going to win this Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix? 3 races left to go here in the WOR PC Championship. What an incredible race we have got in prospect. Plenty of top-end drivers. Mercedes 2 and 3 with an Alfa Romeo on top. Jarno Opmeer's former team as we get ready for the lights to go out. Brace yourself. We're going to be in for a hellacious ride. First light, second light, third light, fourth light, the 5th light. And it's pedal to the metal. Go. Eduardo Leo gets away like a shot in by Tomek Paradzis, following him through into his slipstream. Marco Romanidis goes ahead of the flying Dutchman, Jarno Opmeer. Into Tamburello they go. It's Eduardo Leo in front. Opmeer is spun. He's off the track. He's at the back. Opmeer is off the track, folks. Incredible. He's back on now in P20. But Eduardo Leo in front. The top 3 have gone clear by half a second, Andy. Incredible moment in this race.
Yeah, drama at the start of the Grand Prix. What a start it was from Romanidis off the line. He flew past Opmeer as if he wasn't there going into turn 1 and then cut across him into the first corner. We'll need to see that again to see if it was a little bit naughty for Romanidis. It's difficult to say. say, but he certainly came across Otmir unawares, and it sent him into a spin as they made contact. Eduardo Leo still leads though from Tomek in second and Michael Robinidis in third. Disaster for Otmir down to the back.
Yeah, incredible moments even further down the grid as well. They've got to say John Evans getting into a scrap as well as Sam McBride. Jake Benham moving up an incredible 5 places at the very start of this race. He is absolutely flying right now. Jarno Otmir with a huge mountain to climb, 1 second the difference, and Simon Perigny goes in for a move down the inside around Ravazza. Incredible stuff indeed, rolling into lap 1 of 32, but Eduardo Leo leads from the get-go. He leads the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, 3.5 tenths of a second with Tomek Peradžić close on his tail. What an incredible start, Andy. I can't believe it, and here comes Jake Benham.
Yeah, he's flying, George. He's up 6 places already. Absolutely astonishing start to the Grand Prix from Jake Benham. And he and John Evans both making some early ground. Benham making more though than John Evans and looking very, very strong indeed. As Sam McBride goes a little bit wide, they're down in 13th place, but some real moves and shakers in the field so far. Jake Benham on a charge. I wonder what they would have been in this qualifying session, George.
Certainly is. Shanaka Clay now under a little bit of pressure. John Evans, who in this championship fight now as they round the Piratella, getting pushed out wide side of the Red Bull, going to mid squarely. Here comes Joost Noordijk, who moves in, takes the pair of them coming into Aqua Minerale. Incredible moments again. This circuit in Imola offers so much in the ways of racing. Shanaka Clay into the Variante Alta. No move could be made, but what a move from Joost. He took the opportunity around Aqua Minerale. The AlphaTauri up into P15.
Yeah, lovely stuff from Joost. He makes his way up into 15th place, announcing his arrival in WOR on the PAC in a big, big way. As Eduardo Leo takes lead, he's got a comfortable half second lead as he across the line. Jarno Otmir is now on the back of the train and will start to make some progress, George, as they all make their way across the line. The big movers then, Sammy Perigny up 7, Jake Benham up 6, and John Evans only up 2 so far. Big loser, obviously, Jarno Otmir.
Yeah, it certainly is. In comes Shanaka Clay into Tamburello, squeezes through on John Evans, who runs off the track, and in comes Tom Martinez and Lenny Papinza. Martinez goes for a move now on the outside of Shanaka Clay into the Villeneuve bend. What about? Oh, they touch! They touch! Martinez is spun! Martinez is spun! He's rooted to the back of the order, back of the classification. Jarno now up into P18 after John Evans' mistake, and Martinez's spin. It's been chaos in the first 3 laps, Andy.
It sure has. There's going to be a few unhappy drivers in their rigs at the minute. Tom Martinez and Jarno Otmir to name a couple. John Evans as well, not having the start he was looking for. He's actually still where he started, down in 19th place. So not going to plan at all for John Evans at this stage of the Grand Prix. Otmir up 2 then, but it's because Evans and Martinez have had their own problems. So let's see if he can make his way past Lenny Pinto down in 18th place.
Certainly will. And there's Tomek Peradžić on the rear now of Eduardo Leo, who has led from the get-go, having a mighty race so far. Of course, continuing after his efforts in qualifying as Florisphere sets the fastest lap of the race so far. Ruben Pedreño getting closer to Ulas Zildrim as they all come down the start-finish straight. DRS open for all of these as now down the inside, Ruben Pedreño heading into Tamburello, and that's how you do it. Moves his way up into 8th spot with Ulas Zildrim now down to 9th. Simon Perigny in behind him now as well, chasing, heading into the Villeneuve corner, just pushing him around this part of the track as they make the almighty climb now up towards what will be Tosa. Down the inside, a very attractive move there from Simon Perigny, and he does move ahead of Ulas Zildrim, who's had a miserable first 2 sectors in this lap. He is now down 2 and is into P10. Incredible moment.
Yeah, I love that, George. That was a fantastic move. I just saw it on the left-hand side on the stream there, a little bit delayed, but brilliant stuff there from Simon Perigny. Great move, and that's what I like about this track. We said it in Portugal last week, George. You can make moves in strange areas of the track, but you wouldn't expect it. There's another example there, into Tosa, down the inside from Perigny, gets it done on Ulas Zildrim. Things you just love to see around these classic circuits, and that's another great move.
Certainly is. Chanakinchi now rounding Ravazza, closing on the rear of Florispheres, who is in a little bit of trouble because he is 1.7 seconds in behind Eduardo Leo, crunching out another fastest lap of 1:16.6. Certainly 3-4 seconds. Ruben Pedreño, shall I say, has just actually gone faster than that. So incredible stuff. As here comes Chanakinchi into Tamburello and gets past Florispheres in very clean fashion. Smoothly does it from the Alpine as it makes its way through Tamburello. Jarno Otmir now into P16. He's 1.1 seconds in behind Joost Noordijk, but he's got a little bit of work to do, but he's already within DRS range. But I get the feeling now that all this battling from P5 downwards is just going to allow the top 4 to motor on clear, Andy.
Yeah, well, perhaps, unless Chanakinchi can get a move on. Quite clearly, Flores Fear struggling for race pace. Fair play to him, though. He put together a really solid qualifying session, but evidently not having the same pace in the dry conditions in the race. 2 seconds the gap between Desaluski and Akinci as he's just got through. Let's see if Akinci can try and bridge that gap now, or will he get sucked into this battle with the likes of Flores Fears? We'll wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see for sure. Jarno Opmeer is getting closer and closer. Andy, have you got an update for us?
Yeah, a little slide there for Chanakinchi on the exit of the Variante Alta, and that's put Flores Fears right on him. Maybe even for a move into the Batsawam. We know Flores likes a move, and he's not going to quite make it, but he's certainly going to be close enough, George, for a move down the start-finish straight to try and repass him. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, well, he's making his way past the DRS line. It'll open up now for the Scuderia as he makes his way down past the paddock. Certainly the pit lane will open up. Certainly, I'd imagine, very, very soon for those on the soft tyres. Can Flores make the move? He moves onto the outside with DRS open into Tamburello. He's done it. He's done it. And Ulas Azildrim, I think, has lost himself a couple of places as well. As Jake Benham and Daniele Adat's moved up into P10, Andy.
Yeah, new leader, Tommy Parazis has gone ahead of Eduardo Leo, unseen by us, into turn one, I presume, with the benefit of the DRS, and he's got himself ahead. The Polish Eagle passes Eduardo Leo, the two young guns fighting at the front, and the lead has changed hands. Parazis in the Mercedes takes the lead, and gets a little bit squirrely there on the exit of the turn 7, and in trouble here.
Yeah, well, Eduardo Leo, he has pace, and Tomek is going to feel the squeeze as they come out of Aqua Minerale. Huge opportunity now for Eduardo Leo. Is he going to try to the Variante Alta? He does. He retakes the lead here in lap 6 of 32. Incredible. Marco Romanidis as well may fancy a move of his own. He's just following the two runners out in front. But amazing exchange here between Leo and Paragic. Paragic, though, will also get another chance, though, heading down the stretch. That's if he can get close enough. You want to be within that 0.3 of a second bracket, but great stroke tenacity from Eduardo Leo, pouncing when he was weak.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Perez just let him back through, and I think this is why, so he can come straight back at him into turn 1, and he couldn't quite get close enough by the time they get to the brake pedal. So we didn't see the action into turn 1, George, so maybe there was an unfair move, and that's why Tomek let him back through. No doubt about it, Tomek was letting Eduardo through there, so I'm not too sure why, what the reasoning was. I'm sure we'll find out after the race. Yeah,
we certainly will. Still Eduardo Leo leads in behind Tomek Paratic in the Mercedes, folks. One Mercedes up in the top 5. Jarno Opmeer currently down in P15 has overtaken Joost Noordijk, who is still hot on his tail. Jarno Opmeer getting closer to Lewis Welch now. And I have to say, the pad man looks like he might be stricken by one flying Dutchman as they head up now towards the next left-hander. This one being at the Piratella. This high-speed corner, feathering the throttle down into Aqua Minerale. The Mercedes getting closer to the Ferrari, of course. Ferrari have been streets behind Mercedes for seasons now. Mercedes top of their tree in terms of speed, in terms of development. Jarno Opmeer with a mighty climb from where he was in P20. Penalties flying all over the place as Louis Welch claims one for his troubles as well. Down towards turn 16. Ravazza corner next. You get the feeling that Opmeer is on a charge, Andy.
Yeah, he sure is on a charge. He's looking very, very strong as things stand, isn't he? So let's see if we can pick him up. Where is Jarno Opmeer on the order? He's currently 15th quickest and right up behind Louis Welch. But Louis Welch is actually the man that's making the move. He's right behind Ulas Jozildrim, the pad man, on the push, and he's going to breeze alongside Ulas Jozildrim and into turn 1. He's an easy move then for the Ferrari driver. He's up to 13th.
He is very nicely done indeed, and certainly Lewis Welch carries a lot of speed as well. One of the most devastating pad drivers in the game today. One of the best, certainly top of his game, certainly here in WOR, and certainly in the world of Formula 1 esports and league racing. Incredible indeed what he can do with a handheld device. It's absolutely magnificent indeed. You can see there across the track now, Jarno Opmeer getting close to Ulas Azildrim. He might choose to make a move now, heading out of Piratella, maybe diving into Aqua Minerale. Not this time though, he's going to stay in behind. Very sensible if I say so myself, Jarno, as he now powers out now of Aqua Minerale. Down the next straight now, leading in towards the Variante Alta now. In behind, you can see there Joost Noordijk still very much in the fight as well. So it leads you to think that Jarno is getting slowed down now by these cars in front. He has got the pace on all of these guys. Heading down now into the next left. Surely heading out into the next lap. What will be their lap 9 of 32. Jarno will surely make the move. Heading into what will be Tamburello. He will open the DRS now. Here comes Jarno Opmeer now on the left-hand side of Ulas Azildrim. Past the paddock. The Mercedes driver up into 14th place. The Flying Dutchman flying here in lap 9 of 32.
Yeah, I tell you what, who's doing him a big favour here. His fellow countryman, Flores Fears, who is currently 2.4 seconds off the back of the front four. And at the minute, George, I think that'll be Jarno Opmeer's target, get into the top 5. Because slowly but surely, the top 4 are starting to eke away, particularly the top 3. Antoine Desilewski just about hanging on in there within DRS range, but Floris Veers just holding them all up, allowing Opmeer to stay within range of some of the quicker drivers.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot going on at the bottom end. Sharko Clay has just moved up into 16th past Ulas Azildarim, who is now feeling the force of Lenny Papinta in behind as well. You can just see them, look at him, all over him, like a rash right now, coming around Aqua Minerale as they come up through now. John Evans in behind him as well. He's had a very poor race as John Evans, not enjoying himself there at all, has not managed to at least capitalise on a last to first here whatsoever. He is down in P19 after that error, heading into the Villeneuve, and it's cost him majorly. It's majorly cost him. In fact, I think it was Tamburello where he ran wide onto the grass. Not good at all. Simon Perigny starting to get closer and closer. Luke Smith as well, moving in this time on Chanakinchi, the other Alpine now under pressure, as now we see Luke Smith. Thank you, Frankie said today, as the Haas moves in to that P6 spot. Luke Smith showing that daring pace, and now he's up into 6th place.
Yeah, I love that, George. Sometimes the DRS passes can be a bit underwhelming, but great stuff there between the two. Chanakinski squeezing him right onto the... just in front to complete the move. Lovely stuff, up into 6th place. Next up for him, Floris Veers, who's 2.6 now off the back of the front four, and really holding this trio of cars up. Well, quadruple, actually, with Luke Smith, Chanakinchi, and Simon Perigny.
Yeah, it won't be long now before we see the pit stops come into play now, folks. Lap 10 of 32. I'd imagine in the next few laps we'll start to see them come into the pit lane. Luke Smith starting to close up now on Floris Veers. The gap now remains at just over 8.5 tenths of a second. And with Floris not having DRS, it's going to be an easy prospect for Luke Smith. Though that being said, he is now over the second mark, but he needs to bring it in ASAP if he wants to make another move. Certainly now Tomek Perantic trying to close now, as already we get the first pit stop of the day. Eduardo Leo in the pit lane, Andy.
Yeah, very early from Eduardo Leo, but he's coming in at the end of lap 9. He's going to pull the pin then. He doesn't want to be undercut by anyone else. So Eduardo Leo into the pits. What will go on? Pretty sure it'll be a set of medium tyres. It is a set of medium tyres. Into the pits, medium tyres for Eduardo Leo. Out he goes. Let's see if he's in clean air. He should be.
Yeah, he's down in P16 at this moment and crawling out of the pit lane now. You can see there the safety car there on the right-hand side. Hopefully we won't have to see that at all as he now makes his way out of the pit lane. There you can see behind him as well, Tom Martinez in 17th place, his teammate. So he comes out in some relatively clean air. So not a bad stop from Eduardo Leo, Andy.
Yeah, it looked to me like that was quite kind of Tom Martinez, making sure his teammates stay in front, because I think if Martinez really wanted to, he could have dived down the inside there. But good teamwork there shown by those two. Eduardo Leo out into clean air, 10 seconds of it. Let's see what he can do. Interestingly, we also had Luke Smith, Ruben Pedreño and Simon Perigny into the pits at the end of that lap. They're all going to try and trigger the undercut on Floris Veers, so staying out a little bit longer as he was holding those guys up. So let's see if they can make that undercut work, George.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, that's for sure. As now we have a look at the place gains now. Jake Benham up an almighty 11 places, Andy. Jake Benham absolutely flying, doing an incredible job. As in comes Tomek Perantic. Now this is a key moment in the race. Let's take a look at the gaps, because that is going to be very crucial. There's the gap to the leader. If you look further down, Eduardo Leo 23 seconds. Is it on the cards? Where's Eduardo Leo? As you can see him further down the order, he's just coming around the Ravazza. Was that early stop the right move? That is the big question. Tomek coming out of the pit lane now shortly. There you can see them all nose to tail. Where is Leo though? He comes up across the line. Is he going to cut past as he makes his way down towards Tamburello? He's past Perantic. He's past Perantic. The strategy is working, and he's got clear air between him and Perantic.
Yeah, he's got 1.6 seconds of it, but look at that. Tomek has put the hard tyre on. So Tomek and Tomek and Romanidis both onto the hard tyre. Eduardo Leo on the mediums, George. Oh, I love a variation in strategy, and that's exactly what we're going to get. So let's see who comes out on top with the correct strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 hard tyres being done. Romanidis and Perantic, folks. Eduardo Leo on 0 lap medium tyres. Have you got news there, Andy?
Yeah, Floris Veers, the undercut did not work. Look at that. Ruben Pedreño, Simon Perigny, Luke Smith and Chanakinchi all agonisingly stuck behind him still, and the races are being ruined. Brilliant out lap from Floris Veers to stay in front.
And 8 seconds of penalties for Perantic as well. Huge moment for Perantic, 8 seconds, and that pretty much cripples his opportunity of winning this race in Imola, this Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Andy, and now he's got Michael Romanidis in behind him. The gap now between him and Leo, 2.6 seconds to that net lead of the race. Incredible stuff in behind as well. You can see there another battle beginning to formulate between Desilewski and Martinez. I have to say Martinez in no man's land right now. Here comes now Michael Romanidis for the move on Tomek Peradžič, coming up towards Tamburello. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Williams. He moves up into P10. Romanidis in the top 10, Andy.
It's happening everywhere, George. I don't know where to look at the minute. We've got an action for second in the lead of the Grand Prix. Floris Veers still somehow in front of these guys in the battle for what is currently going to be P5 when everyone else pits. So he's doing a fine job of keeping these guys back. Excellent stuff from the Dutchman, despite having what appears to be less pace. Pitting 1 lap later, he's made it work and he's still ahead of Pedreño, Perigny, Luke Smith and Chanakinchi. Great stuff. Jarno Opmeer though, 5.4 behind, and he'll look to close that gap up.
Yeah, certainly will. The key moment is as well, where will Jake Benham come out in all of this as well when he pits? Because I want to see what happens with him. Daniel Haddad is still leading this race, albeit has not yet stopped. We're now watching them make their way through the next chicane now, powering out to the Variante Alta, coming into the next right now, shortly out to the next left. And as they do so, Michael Romanidis leading Tomek Peradžič round. But there's a mighty gap springing out, Andy. It's gone out to 3.1 seconds. 6/10 have now been put on Romanidis. Eduardo Leo is flying out there.
Yeah, he is on the mediums though, George, so it's an interesting one. Will it come back to Romanidis later on in the Grand Prix, or is there a two-stop strategy potentially coming here? As here comes Tomek Peradžič, the Polish Eagle, fighting back into turn 1, round the outside, and the Mercedes sweeps back through, rolls reversed on lap 14, and he retakes what will be a net second place. It's 10th of the road in a moment though.
Yeah, one Mercedes car in the top 10. Jarno Opmeer trying to close the gap on Chanakinchi, but not having a fruitful visit at this moment. We'll have to see where he comes towards the end of this race. Of course, that opening lap, of course, causing him great distress. Moving down to the back of the field, he's had to try and fight back, but it hasn't worked for the Flying Dutchman here today. He's now down in P19. Further there, you can see Antoine Desilewski still fighting in behind. Michael Romanidis as well. Tom Martinez, who's in a bit of no man's land, as we've said, currently stagnating in P13 after his spin earlier on as well. But Daniel Haddad still leads this incredible race here at Imola. What a moment, folks. Incredible moments in this race. It's been an incredible start. I mean, we usually get the action after all the pit stops. We saw it all within the first 10 laps, Andy.
It's been absolutely fantastic stuff here at Imola, George. Really enjoyed it. So I take it we can all agree now, Eduardo Leo going for the two-stop strategy. I can only presume that's what he's doing. We'll have to wait and see. He'd have to go, what, 17, 20 laps on a set of medium tyres. I suppose we'll have to wait and see what the other medium drivers that haven't pitted yet do, George. Then we'll know if he can do it.
No, absolutely. Again, Michael Romanidis on the rear of Tomek Peradžič seems to be quite happy staying in behind. Jarno Opmeer a 1:16. He steals the fastest lap on medium tyres, but he's still got a huge race to run. Joost Noordijk as well, right on the rear of Floris Veers. He's making his way around this circuit as well, coming down towards Acqua Minerale out of the Piratella. The Ferrari still in 4th place, but 3 seconds of time penalties is going to be very crippling for Louis Welch. And Joost Noordijk, if it stays the way it is right now, will automatically jump ahead of him should the penalty stay the same. Benham now also right in behind of Daniel Haddad. There's a huge battle going on up in the top 3 as they are on track right now. Incredible battles all across this circuit, and this is why I love Imola, Randy.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, George. It's really living up to the expectations. It's actually exceeding expectations, it has to be said. But all those drivers in the top 8, all within a second of each other, George, they're all going to come into the pits and they're all going to be charging back through towards the end of this race. This has got the makings of a real classic here in WOR. I'm really enjoying it. We've got split strategies for the race victory as well. How is this going to play out? We've got the esports champion charging up from the field as well. So yeah, looking really exciting, George. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, absolutely. Michael Romanidis stealing back the net P2 position of Tomek Peradžič into Tamburello as they now come around the next left now. Up next is the Villeneuve chicane. In behind you can see that Antoine Desilewski in 12th as well. What an incredible race we've had so far. I don't want it to end. We're at the halfway point here at Imola. Amazing stuff. Luke Smith gets a 3-second time penalty as well as they make the almighty climb heading out of Tosa up towards the Piratella now. Romanidis, the man, the the man from Greece, here in the Williams car, the team that he represents in F1 esports as well. Peradzik in behind, budding esports talent as well, hot on his heels. Plenty of potential up-and-coming professionals in amongst this grid order here at WOR, folks. You've come here for great racing, you've come here for hard battling, you've come here for entertainment. Are you not entertained, folks?
Well, I'm certainly entertained, George. I'm on the edge of my seat. It's been absolutely fantastic so far. So let's have a look then. Eduardo Leo opening that gap out to 4.3. He must be on a two-stop unless those tyres are going to be destroyed at the end. But then again, these guys have now gone 16 laps on medium, so only needs to do 4 more. We've got a yellow flag. Why is that? Luke Smith is off the road and in the gravel trap down at the second Ravazza. So he's in contact with something or someone and he rejoins with no damage, but he's going to change the tyres anyway.
Oh, big moment there. I'm not sure quite what happened, but Luke Smith, DNF's in the pit lane. He is out of the race. Luke Smith is out of this Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Tomek Peradzik, I have to say, incredible indeed. He's currently up into P10 right now. He's gone ahead of Michael Romanidis, but remember, those 8 seconds of penalties are going to be so heartbreaking for him. Anton Desanowski, who's been waiting patiently in behind these two as they round the next left at Pirotella, down through towards Aqua Minerale. Yet again, I mean, Andy, the battles are absolutely tenacious, all of them out on track, and what a piece of the action. Shanaka Clay is spun as well.
Yeah, Shanaka Clay spinning then into the very anti-alta chicane, and that's ruined his hopes of a strong result. Perhaps those medium tyres beginning to struggle for him. Has he got a puncture? Doesn't look like it, George, so it's a disaster for Shanaka Clay, and I'm sure he will retire in the pit lane.
Yeah, well, that's not going to be good news, certainly for Aston Martin. Had a bit of a difficult moment, certainly into qualifying, as we're now watching Jake Benham close up on Daniel Yadan. Just a quick reminder on the permutations, Andy. Certainly Jake Benham can win this title here today if he gets a top 5 result, and Jarno and Shanaka don't finish in the points, and neither does John Evans. And there's one gone, Shanaka's gone. This could be the day we crown Jake Benham as the world champion.
Yeah, well, we thought it was very unlikely going into this race, but we've seen so much this afternoon that it might well be possible. So, very good of you to reach that point, George, because I had almost forgotten about the championship. It's been that wild a race so far, so we'll have to keep an eye on it. But you would think the likes of Otmir should be able to get back up into the points from there, and will Benham be able to get into the top 5? It remains to be seen. It'll be a tall order if he can, as John Evans picks up a 3-second time penalty. We saw that there, running very wide on the exit of Aqua Minerale.
Yeah, that's not going to be useful at all for his race. Jake Benham in second and being hunted down by Sam McBride, 2.5 tenths in behind him. And there's the other Red Bull car, of course. It's not been a similar affair for John Evans, who is battling in amongst the best of them in the top 5 as well. Or should I say the top 6? As we're watching Benham now head down the straight. You can see him trying to break the slipstream here with Sam McBride, who is hot on his tail, heading into Tamburello now. Huge chance there for the Red Bull. Will, though, Benham make the move here on Haddad? No, not this time. He's going to wait in behind. He's just waiting patiently. Soon they will be utilising the pit stops. John Evans out to the race, Andy.
Yeah, John Evans then, he's retired from the race. Not sure if it was in the pit lane. It was in the pit lane, so John Evans had enough then. His last to first has not paid off at all. And yeah, well, last week didn't have a good qualifying session at all. This week it was a last to first attempt, and both races falling by the wayside for John Evans, not going to plan whatsoever. So we've had a few pit stops there, George, at the end of that lap. A few drivers moving on to soft tires. So 18 laps is what they managed on fresh mediums. So let's see if we can see Eduardo Leo get 20 laps out of them and in a competitive state to hold on to the lead. That will be the question. Will any of these drivers go as far, or dare us go as far as 20 laps? We'll see.
Yeah, we certainly will, but certainly the way it's strung out right now, that's 2 of the contenders against the championship for Jake Benham gone out of this race. The only one left is Jarno Watmir. If Jake now nails a top 5 and beats Jarno, he will be crowned WOR PCF1 champion, and another championship that he will get in WOR's second title, to say the least. An incredible run this man has had, rising to the occasion, signing to Veloce Esports this season. What a mighty charge this young man's been on. Challenged the best of them. We've had an exciting season all year long. It's been brilliant. It's been amazing. It's been beautiful. Have you got an update for us, Andy?
Yeah, Tomek making the move on. Romanidis into turn 1, and he's got it done. So they swap round again. The Mercedes driver back in front of the Williams man. They've been chopping and changing all race long. Tomek back ahead. 6 seconds the gap now to Eduardo Leo. Can these drivers, Antoine Desalewski still hanging in there as well, as is Floris Viers, he's right back in it. So all these drivers could be hunting down Eduardo Leo come the end of this Grand Prix. Do not go anywhere, folks. This could be brilliant.
Yeah, no, I got to say I'm on the edge of my seat, folks, like many of you are. So many implications heading into this race, so many results, so many possibilities, and that is the brilliance of league racing, folks, as Michael Romanidis rises up through Acqua Minerale. Sam McBride now hunting on the rear of Jake Benham as they head down towards the Ravazza. Now, could this be the moment where we see Jake Benham peel off into the pit lane to make his stop? It'd be interesting to see where he comes out, certainly as he makes his... Oh, they both go in. They're both in. Benham and McBride in, Andy.
Yeah, both of them come into the pit lane, so 19 laps then. Even Lenny Pepinter says that's enough. So we're going to have to see 20 laps then from your new race leader, Eduardo Leo, to make this strategy work. Can he do it then? He will now lead from Tomek Perazis and Michael Romanidis. It might be actually Romanidis from Perazis, because here he comes again. The Williams driver pulling alongside. Williams versus Mercedes. No Bottas versus Russell this time. And through goes Romanidis up into second place once again. But I tell you what they're going to be worried about here. They could be held up because the likes of Desaluski and Veers are on the faster medium tyre, and they could ruin Romanidis and Perazis' chances of trying to catch Leo, couldn't they? That could be a real spanner in the works.
Well, in effect here right now, Eduardo Leo is running his own race, but remember, he boxed earlier, and it looks very likely he's going to be pulling off a two-stop, so the drama has not ended just yet, folks. Michael Romanidis in second place, Peradzik in third, Desaluski in fourth, Veers in behind on the faster set of tyres, as Andy so rightly said, Pradrenio in sixth, Perigny in seventh, Akinci in eighth, with Jana Watmir 5.5 seconds behind. Now, you've got to give Jana Watmir credit here, Andy. He's up into P9. Remember, he was right to the back in P20. He's really worked his way back into the top 10.
Yeah, he's going to have to keep looking over his shoulders though, because we've got, what, 6 drivers behind him on fresh soft tyres. So this is going to be ridiculous, George. We've already got what is a 7-car train for second place. What is going to happen when the other 6 on softs catch onto the back row? We're going to have a 13-car train. Look at this going into turn 1. We're nearly 3 wide. Perazis is through, Desaluski's through, and Romanidis drops to 4.
He certainly does. Anton Desaluski peels himself in front into P3 with Peradzik in P2. Romanidis sacrifices those 2 spots, moves into 4th spot with Floris Veers hot on his tail as well. What an incredible race this has been. Lap 22, very much a corker like the rest of them have been. Amazing moments indeed. Peradzik gets himself into second place, but that 8 seconds of penalties, they are going to be crucial come the end of this race, Andy.
This is absolutely wild, George. I've just realised we've got a 7-car train fighting for second position, and the 6 cars behind it are all on softs. They're all going to catch up. They're all going to be in a line in about 10 laps time, and I've got no idea how that's going to pan out. It's already wild having 7 in a line. That is WOR for you. It is so competitive.
Yeah, very similar tyre wear, I just want to say as well, between Antoine and Peradzik. Peradzik on hard tyres, also Antoine on medium tyres. That's interesting. So Antoine doing a mighty job saving the tyres here. And we saw him sitting in behind both Romanidis and Peradzik. That was a conceited effort to try and save some of the wear on the compound. So you've got to give him credit. Antoine Desaluski going for a potential move here. The McLaren goes alongside now of Tomek Peradzik, moves up into second place. And out goes Antoine out of Tamburello, moving down now towards the Villeneuve chicane. He is absolutely flying, and he might be on for a huge race here today.
Yeah, brilliantly done from Desaluski. Measured that to perfection. Just enough room to squeeze down the outside there. Just the braking well on the outside. Gets it done. Through into second place. So he'll now try to break away from these guys. He's going to need to, because he won't have the better tyres come the end of the race. This is Eduardo Leo's best friend in this Grand Prix, Desaluski, because he's getting in front of those hard runners who could be a threat near the end of the race. So that is going to be time-consuming effort and work on the tyres for the hard runners of Perazis and Romanidis to get back ahead of Desaluski before they can get to Leo.
Yeah, absolutely. There's the tyre graphic, folks, there you can see what laps they are on. Danny Elliott, Dan could get on a hard charge here now. As we see, oh, Louis Welsh out. Louis Welsh is out. Of course, Sam McBride now up into P13. And that is a Ferrari out of the race. Huge blow there indeed. We're now left with only 16 runners in this race, Andy. Heartbreak here for Louis Welsh. It just wasn't his day today. You back with us, Andy?
Oh yeah, sorry, I keep cutting out, but here comes Perazis down into turn 1. Back on, Desaluski gets it done. Through into second once again. Apologies, viewers, if you're hearing me and George cutting out from time to time. Just Discord playing up, I think, George.
Yeah, absolutely. Paradzic now up into second place. Antoine Desalewski in third. In behind, Romanidis in fourth. Viers in fifth. It's getting closer between the top end. Incredible stuff indeed. 16 runners left in this Grand Prix. It's been incredible. Absolutely incredible. Eduardo Leo, though, stretching the advantage, though, Andy. Another second and a half. He's absolutely flying. Your pick looks good for this race.
He's looking very good, George, but there's still time left. I want to know how those medium tyres are going to look at the finish. The problem is, though, for the drivers trying to catch him, Tomic's got the penalty, and Romanidis, well, he's got 2 cars to pass before he can start getting on the attack, but they are now starting to level that gap out at around 7 seconds. Surely now, Eduardo Leo is going to start getting reeled in on those mediums. Let's see how he's kept his tyres at the end of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, definitely. Otmir now in behind Haddad, and he's trying to move here. He's a second behind as they come through the next left at the Ravazza. There you can see Daniele Haddad round in Ravazza now as well. The gap stays at 1.2 in behind. You can see there Joost Noordijk potentially looking to make a move. This could be a big one indeed, certainly in terms of points paid positions, because of course they're fighting over P10. Here comes Noordijk now, moves up into 10th spot now, the AlphaTauri, but he has got 6 seconds of penalties himself as well, so that's going to cost him majorly and therefore give Otmir that place back eventually further down the line. But incredible moment yet again, and still they're battling for that top 2 place.
Yeah, they are still battling away at the minute. This is looking very good for Jake Benham in terms of a World Championship. Jarno Otmir now outside of the World Championship points, George. So at the minute, with them both out of the points, it's going to go to Jake Benham, I believe. There's a 53-point gap between he and Otmir at the minute. So it's going to go his way as things stand, with only 52 points available after this. So agonisingly, Otmir no longer in it by losing that point.
No, not at all. And we're coming down to the final 7 laps in this Grand Prix as well, folks. I don't really want to see it come to an end, but the way it's strung out right now, it's going to be an absolutely hellacious finish. The big question is, can Eduardo Leo take the car to the end? Because now, if he pits, surely he sacrifices the lead, Andy.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he's not going to pit now. He's going to go at the end. He obviously thinks that he can make it work, and it's looking pretty good for him because I tell you what, Antoine Desalewski is doing a fine job of holding these hard runners up. Here comes Paradzic once again, and he's made it work into turn 1.
Yeah, it certainly is. Paradzic has moved up into second place. Antoine Desalewski in third. There you can see Viers in behind him as well. Sorry, Andy, we lost you slightly there, but I got to say, great move by Paradzic.
Yeah, Paradzic, great move, gets it done on Desalewski, who drops to third place. Tell you what, Eduardo Leo's got this one, I've got to say it. These guys on the mediums are just helping Eduardo Leo out, overtaking and repassing those on the hards, making it really difficult. The only threat Eduardo Leo's got at this stage is Romanidis, but he's down in 5th place, getting overtaken from Flores Viers and Antoine Desalewski. What a race it's been from Eduardo Leo. He looks like he's going to complete the job.
It certainly looks like it. 8.6 seconds the gap. There's Romanidis, who's now in behind Flores Viers, who's now up into P4 and hunting all over the rear of Antoine Desalewski. Could be a big race there from the Dutchman as they make their way down towards the Ravazza corners now, down into the next left at turn 17 and 18 alike. The glowing brake discs on all these cars as they now round it again, coming down now towards turn 19. And again, the DRS will open up for all of them here. The only one not to have it would be Paradzic. Ruben Pedreño's tyres starting to wear off. Romanidis right on his, well, certainly right ahead of him here. Here comes Antoine Desalewski now for that P3 spot, but well defended by Paradzic. Holds on to P3, shall I say. Paradzic in P2. Here comes Flores Viers, goes alongside him, looking for that podium position as they come into Villeneuve. Oh, he's gone! He's gone, and that's a huge crash. Massive crash heading into Villeneuve.
It's a shame for Flores Viers. He had been having a fantastic race, George, but sometimes he just goes for the move. Maybe he should have just backed out. Very, very close between those two there. Viers goes for the spin, and that brilliant race he'd been having has been undone with that contact. Shame for him. Out he goes.
Yeah, that is a big shame. Certainly Flores Viers fighting for that top end. You just can't get 2 cars into Villeneuve, can you, Andy? You just never can do it. It's so tight, so fast. We've seen so many incidents there today. You've got to time it, haven't you?
I mean, you can do it, George, but you just really need to be careful, and you need to, assess the risks. Risk v reward. Is it really worth going for it? And I think sometimes the risk management from Flores Viers, there's been contact, it's a racing incident perhaps, but you don't need to put yourself in that position. And in the end, he drops out of contention. It's a real shame because he's been having a fine race. The best I've seen him race for quite some time, in fact, in terms of pace.
Yeah, it certainly has been. Still Eduardo Leo leads now. We are into the final 4 laps of racing here at Imola as Sam McBride battles with Jarno Opmeer and actually gets past him heading out of Tamburello. And Sam McBride now up into P11 with Joost Noordijk now in P10. Jake Benham in the top 10 now, and he's trying to close on what looks to be Daniele Adan. There's a huge scrum now, a huge train of cars, and the question is, whose tyres are going to last to the end? Jake Benham on softs. The question is, has the tyre worn out on Benham's car?
Yeah, I think it should be still okay at the minute because the guys he's going to be racing are going to be on destroyed mediums up ahead. So Benham on for a fine result here this afternoon if he can keep it going. He's looking pretty good. We'll see how it all pans out, George. But I tell you what, I'm laughing here. We've got so many championship graphics and permutations in front of us. Not one of them has. What if Jake Benham finishes down and Opmeer, Clay and Evans don't get any points?
Well, we just don't know what's going to happen at this point, do we? I mean, at the end of the day, the way it's panned out right now, I still think the title hunt will go into the next 2 races. So Benham has got to finish surely higher, or can he win the title?
George, sorry, I'll do some calculations. You carry on.
There we are. Andy's going to get on it for us now, folks. We're now watching huge battling going on further up as well with Daniele Adan scrapping here with Chanakinchi, and certainly 2 tenths, 1.5 tenths, 2 tenths between them as they come down towards Villeneuve now. The Aston Martin in 8th spot, right on the rear of Chanakinchi. They come up now towards the massive move there from Daniele Adan. A very auspicious run indeed, heading into Tosa as they now peel off, heading down out towards the Piratella. The gap now advancing out slightly with Jake Benham starting to close it up now. Incredible stuff indeed. He's down to 1.1 seconds now, Jake Benham. He is flying and getting closer and closer. Lap 29 of 32. 3 laps of magic remain in what has been a truly classic, absolutely action-packed Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, Andy.
It's been absolutely fantastic. So, 42-point gap going into this race between Jake Benham and John Evans. He needs to get that gap up to 52 points. So at the minute, he would need to finish in 5th place, wouldn't he? So if he can get that gap up to 52, but then again, that wouldn't be enough either because, that wouldn't do it unless it's one more race than John, which I think he has. I need to try and figure this out, George. 5th, I might do it. 5th might do it.
Yeah, well, 5th, I think the way it's strung out, I think because he's DNF'd, that's going to be massive as the 2 Alpine teammates battle heading into Tamburello. Oh, here comes Daniele Adan, moving up into P6, goes past both Alpines. Now, I'm not sure whether he cut that corner there at Tamburello or not, but it was a very, very quick entrance and exit.
Yes, brilliant racing we're seeing out here on the racetrack. Really enjoyed this race here at Imola as the 2 Alpines get together and have some action. Jake Benham then closing in on them. Will he get close enough to do anything about them? It remains to be seen. Eduardo Leo absolutely cruising out front. What a performance this has been. He's come of age here today at Imola. What a drive it's been. Paradzis then in 2nd. He's going to drop right down the order with those penalties. Desilewski back to form as well, which is great to see too, George.
It certainly is. Eduardo Leo still leading this race, and he's comfortable. 2 laps left in this Grand Prix here at Imola, and it's been sensational. Here comes Michael Romanidis again, and surely we'll have DRS heading down the stretch, and if he can stay in the slipstream, he will manage surely to get past Anton Desilewski. They come around turn 18. This is where the moves are so important. Here we ride on board now with Romanidis, utilising the straight line speed, utilising the slipstream down towards Tamburello. Michael Romanidis wheel to wheel now with Anton Desilewski for P3 in the race, moving into Tamburello. He gets ahead now of Anton Desilewski, who immediately tries to fight back. Does he have enough heading into Villeneuve? Then nose to tail. Daniele Adan now going past into 5th place now, battling it out with Ruben Pedreño. He moves up a spot. Huge drama here with 2 laps left to go.
Yeah, drama everywhere. Look, it's been a great watch this race, George, and it's all the way to the end. Romanidis gets the job done then, up to 3rd position. He'll go after Paradzis and make that P2 pretty quickly, you would think. Let's see about Jake Benham, though. He's right on the back of Chanakinchi. He's almost pushing Chanakinchi through turn number 8. It's so close between those guys in the midfield at the minute as Benham tries to make up some precious points in the championship.
Yeah, he certainly does. Jake Benham now in 9th, chasing on Chanakinchi. Every point counts, folks. Every move counts. Every classification position counts. As running wide, Jake Benham there coming out of the Variante Alta as they now move their way down towards the Ravazza. Revazza. You can see there Joost Noordijk as well in behind him. He's had a great race in his first visit here to the PC Championship at WOR. I hope you guys have all enjoyed it at home. I hope you have all enjoyed every moment as Tomek Perantic, I didn't realise it, 11 seconds of time penalties now, and that is going to be massively costly as now Michael Romanidis tries to look for that P2 spot, can't find a way through this time on Tomek Perantic here on the final lap of the race. But Andy, how can we summarise this performance from Eduardo Leo? It's been stunning, hasn't it?
Absolutely outstanding, George. I cannot stress that enough. His qualifying effort was outrageous, and he's followed that up with a stunning, dominant performance in the race. To win by 8 seconds in a field this competitive is absolutely magnificent. I say the words again: outstanding, magnificent, and crucially of all, coming of age. Stunning effort.
It certainly has been, and he comes down now towards the Variante Alta for the final time. A brilliant drive, to say the least, here, donning the medium tyres for such a lengthy stint. Comes down now towards the next right-hander, this time at turn 16. The Revazza are the final couple of major corners to take around 17 and 18. He'll have turn 19 as well to come before he reaches the checkered flag of the line. He weaves along the straight and will claim victory here at Imola for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Eduardo Leo is crowned your race winner here at Imola. Outstanding drive, phenomenal effort. Michael Romanidis finishes in second place. Antoine Desilewski takes a massive third place, with Daniel Haddad, huge drive as well, fourth spot after that very difficult qualifying session when both Astons were out in Q2. Incredible stuff, and you've got to give Jarno Opmeer credit as well. P20 to P8, as well as Jake Benham, back of the grid near enough to P7. What a day of racing, what a night here at WOR, Andy.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic, George. Really enjoyed that. Action all over the racetrack, a close field apart from Eduardo Leo. And just to give you an idea of how close, Eduardo Leo won by 8.6 seconds. Tomek Perantic, second on the road, 11 seconds of penalties, drops him outside the top 10, and he gets absolutely nothing. So that shows you how good an effort that was from Leo against such a strong field. Strategy was perfect, performance was on point. What a win, well deserved.
It certainly does, and what this does mean, ladies and gentlemen, is that we will be taking the championship battle to the next round again. So it's all continuing here tonight, and nothing's decided right now. But if there's one thing that has been decided, it's that man. Eduardo Leo is the winner of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix here tonight at Imola, and I have to say, a dominant performance. Very impressive in qualifying. None of us expected that in Q3. That incredible moment towards the end of that session. But he then went and did it. There were question marks around race pace. Could he carry it through? But he's done it. He is P1 here tonight. Started first on the grid. Finished first on the grid. Certainly with Michael Romanidis in second. Antoine Desilewski in third. Daniel Haddad in fourth with Ruben Pedreño in fifth. Simon Perigny in sixth. Jake Benham, a huge drive as well, up into P7 from 18th spot. Jarno Opmeer up to 8th after getting spun in the first lap towards the back of the grid, and then he returned to recover to a points paying position in P8. Chana Kinchi in 9th. Joost Noordijk, I got his name right this time, P10 for that man in the AlphaTauri. Tomek Perantic, it just got from bad to worse given the penalty situation. He was up to 11 seconds. He finishes in 11th. Sam McBride in 12th with Ulas Azildrim in 13th. Papinta, Viers, Martinez, Louis Welch there. John Evans, Shanaka Clay and Luke Smith. We had some DNFs there as well. They are out, of course, of the race. But wowee, what an amazing performance. What an amazing race. It was madness from start to finish, Andy. I mean, can we just diagnose that for a minute? I mean, because that was incredible.
That was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic, George. Really, really enjoyed it. What a great race. What an advert for the league. Qualifying was probably the best qualifying session I've seen this season. So much drama, so much excitement, and that was with some of the key protagonists out in Q1, wasn't it? So, no, absolutely fantastic quali. Followed up in the race, we had a mixture of strategies. We had the esports world champion spinning at turn 1 and charging back through. Jake Benham coming through, and we shouldn't overshadow Simon Perigny, who also came from 17th in the grid. Benham came from 18th, and they finished 6th and 7th, with Perigny, the Frenchman, just in front. So a big mention to him as well, with a fine performance too. But what a race, George. Action everywhere. The field's so tight. It was all closing up towards the end. But there was one man in a league of his own today. Nailed the first lap in Q3. nailed the lap on mediums in Q2 that raised everybody's eyebrows, which is what made me want to tip him, George. And then, just when Paradzis got on terms with him, he delivered a stonker of a lap to go quickest of all with a 13.2 in quali and blitzed them all and performed superbly in the race. No doubt about it, George. A star of the future, right up there with the likes of Jake Benham and John Evans, right up there. That was superb.
He's only 14 years of age here, Andy. 14 years of age. Now, to do that at 14, it takes a lot of bottle against some of the top contenders. I mean, you see the likes of Jana Watmir, Shanaka Clay, Daniel Eldad, and Mike Romanidis performing week in, week out on F1 esports. They know how to manage a race in a professional sort of environment. Eduardo Leo, very new to that whole affair. But what does that say about his character if he can perform against those big guns in that sort of environment? Because that, it may not be F1 esports, but it's still probably one of the highest places to be in league racing.
Absolutely, George. We've got nearly 300 people sitting here watching this race live. So there is pressure coming with this. And let's be honest, we know that the esports teams watch this. They watch WOR, they watch PSGL. This is where they scout their drivers. So there is pressure always on. It's like a young footballer finding out that the Man United scouts are watching the game. The pressure's on you, isn't it? It's the same kind of analogy. And the pressure was on Eduardo Leo, 14 years of age, and delivered a fine performance. Absolutely excellent. The one thing I will say, and this is not me taking the shine off the performance, it would have been nice to see how he would have coped if Otmir hadn't spun at the first corner, how he would have compared against Jake Benham and John Evans if they didn't start from the back of the grid. It would have been very interesting. I really think that. But he nailed the strategy, nailed the race, did what he had to do, and delivered a commanding victory. Very, very, very impressive, George.
It was very impressive, and give him credit as well. I think even despite maybe not seeing him perform against the likes of John Evans and Jake Benham after they obviously did not qualify effectively, despite that, Eduardo Leo still immensely quick in that final qualifying session. So he obviously has the pace, so we know that much. So without a shadow of a doubt, surely we could expect him to be up there with the likes of Jake Benham and John Evans.
Definitely, George. Absolutely. Perhaps even quicker. Honestly, it was that good. I was that impressed. And when I rode on board with him in qualifying, and I seen the way he took that middle sector and final sector in that lap, I thought it was stunning. I was watching everyone else do their laps on board through that section, and they just couldn't hook up that chicane under the pressure. They just couldn't carry the speed through the corner to help them down the hill to the VATS of 1. He had it hooked up every time. The 14.1 in Q2, then the two low 13s in Q3. Superb. Really, really good. So, look, George, Challengers is coming up soon, and I know he's 14, but he's very, very strong. Very strong. There's so many strong drivers out there, and George, he's one to watch the future. He's right up there with the likes of Benham, Evans, definitely, no doubt about it. I just want to see them all race together from the front, and then we'll really know more often.
And do you know what, Andy? That's the beauty of league racing, isn't it? The fact that you can see all these young up-and-comers before they even touch esports. No other series can do that. No other series can bring you this kind of racing. Bring in the young stars of the future along with the current stars of the future, or those just about to touch the precipice of being stars. We get to see them all in this grid, in this lineup. And like you say, scouts come along, they have a look at some of these drivers, they sign them up. We got evidence for that. Jake Benham, the likes of many others, including Valentin Bruffair, all of them, Ruben Vallejo as well, all of them getting signed. Effectively, you can argue that Jana Watmir was as well as many others. All of them perform in league racing. League racing is so important to the future of esports, and it develops future stars. And tonight was no exception. So without any shadow of a doubt, I think we can firmly expect to see Eduardo Leo up there in a couple of years' time. Certainly when he comes of age, 16 years, I believe, is the age limit to get into challenges. Yeah. So I would expect him to certainly be up there. But amazing race. And I hope you guys at home all enjoyed that as much as we did, because it was sensational. And if you haven't done so already, folks, I really would ask you to smash a like and also subscribe to the WOR YouTube channel. And if you haven't done so already as well, you can see that me and Andy both have our Twitter tags below our webcams as well. You've got George Morgan TV below me, and Andy, you've got yours there as well, Ginger Andy F1, and they can message you as much as they like, can't they?
Yeah, of course they can. Of course they can. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, incredible. Amazing stuff indeed. And I'd like to say a big thank you once again to all of you for tuning in. We smashed nearly enough, well over 300 live viewers, folks. And I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us for this incredible race here tonight. It was Eduardo Leo who led from the front after starting on pole. And he took it all the way to the end as well. But the drama in the midfield, that was the story. That was the talking point. We'll see you next time, folks. The championship fight continues. Can Benham do it in the next 2 rounds? We'll wait and see. We'll see you next time, folks. Take care. Goodbye.
Antoine is going to be
Absolutely phenomenal.